in Southern California. What's going on? It's hour one of Jon and Jim with you for the next 3 hours. We have a very good show lined up for you today. Let me tell you about the show we have coming up, folks, because obviously we're getting ready for Padres Mariners. We have some information on Xander Bogaerts, which I think is impactful. We'll get to in a moment. Brian Dutcher is going to join us at 3:30. So our first look at next year's team with Dutch at 3:30. Now, San Diego State's NIL coordinator is Brendan Hill. He'll join us in studio coming up at 4 p.m. They've got a really cool event coming up on the EA Sports College Football 25 video game in Novo, Brazil, right here. With Brendan Hill, then at 4:30, Bryce Miller at the UT. He wrote about the others, Jim, the 26-man roster, not just the Machados and the Tatisas, but the others. So Bryce Miller, great columnist for. We have an update on Bogarts. Is there something you want to react to before we get to Xander Bogaerts?
No, we're going
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the update from Kevin Ace. He is our Padres insider, and he did deliver this news within the last couple of hours. It appears Xander Bogaerts remains on track to return for the final series before the All-Star break. Will likely face live pitching at Petco and play a game or two in Lake Elsinore before that. We said, make sure you're healthy. Take your time, Xander. But, I mean, he's only been out since late May. He got hurt against the Braves in May. It's not even mid-July. He fractured his shoulder. He's going to make it back, apparently, Jim, in less than 2 months. Is this a wise decision to race back for Xander Bogaerts before the All-Star break and get here for this Braves series that kicks off Friday?
Is it wise? I don't know.
Is it the right decision?
I don't know how Xander's feeling. I know he's hitting BP literally right now at Petco Park. I don't know his current health status, but at the same time, if he's ready to go, then why wait? You know, if he's not ready to go, then I understand that. But if he's like fully ready to go and nothing's holding him back and he's healthy-ish enough, right? Like, why wait, I guess?
I got reasons for it.
Donovan Solano?
No.
What?
The team. The team's been really good. 12-5 in their last 17. Getting production. Jake Cronenworth's been great at second base. Everything is kind of fit in perfectly in his absence. You got Luis Ariz playing a good first base. Hassan Kim has played a little bit better. And Machado is mashing right now. Like, if it ain't broke, now of course it's coming back. But I'm just saying, like, do you need to rush back? It feels a little bit hasty. Now, I don't know the prognosis. I don't know how he. Maybe he's 100%. But fractured shoulder and May 20th to back healthy by July 10th. That's pretty impressive, isn't it? 6 weeks later, he's back from a fractured shoulder.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then why even return at all?
No, I mean, I hate to say that. I mean, I know I am arguing that side of the coin, which is like things are good right now. Like, are we rocking the boat to get this guy back on?
So, I'll be on the side of, okay, then you want to bring him back when they start playing bad?
I just want to make sure he's fully healthy.
Okay.
No, I just want to make sure there's no rush.
Do we know if he's fully healthy or not right now?
I haven't asked him.
Okay. But what if he is fully healthy? Then the argument still remains, why bring him back? Because Donovan Solano's playing really good baseball and the team's playing good baseball, so don't mess up a good thing right now.
It's not about Donovan Solano. It's more about the last time we saw Xander Bogaerts. He was struggling mightily. And the team, in the absence of Xander Bogaerts, has played better than when they did with him. Now, that's not a reason not to play him. He's not an 11-year deal. They signed him. And when he comes back, he's going to play. He's not coming off the bench. He's going to be a regular, I would assume. I'm just saying, like, it just seems a little hastened. That's probably completely unfair. I don't even know what I'm saying. I just know they have a 4-day break for the All-Star break. Why rush back for the Atlanta series when if you don't play in the Atlanta series, you have a whole nother week? Maybe that's unfair. That's just what I'm thinking. What do you guys think, by the way? I want that on the talkback line. Hit us up on the talkback mic. Is he coming back too soon, Xander Bogaerts, or not? You can hit us up on the talkback mic. Just open the free iHeartRadio app. Listen to San Diego Sports 760. Tap that little red microphone icon next to the play button to leave a 30-second talkback. Is that unfair that I'm like, dude, it just feels like I thought you were going to be out for a little longer than you're going to be out. Now you're all of a sudden back?
Well, here's the thing. He is making $26 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
He has a $280 million contract, John, and he's going to be here for the next decade. They aren't just going to say, yeah, thanks, but no thanks.
I agree. I agree.
The only thing I'm concerned about is if he returns, which is going to be pretty soon here, can he give you the same production that you're getting out of Donovan Solano, or even better than that? Because that's where I sit. I'm not. If they're playing good, don't ruin a good thing. Like no, it's about who he is going to be taking over for, and that'd be Donovan Solano, who right now, I believe he is. Hold on, let me look this up right here. Stupid phone. He's either where's he hitting tonight, John? He's hitting 5th in the lineup. So when Xander returns, that's essentially where you're going to be putting Bogarts, is 5th in the lineup. And Donovan Solano has done really well every day for this Padres team. Can Xander
no doubt
replicate that and hopefully do better than Donovan Solano? Because that's what you're hoping for. What you're hoping for is not the Xander Bogaerts that went on the IL, where he was playing better before he got injured.
Let me stop with that narrative. And I saw it from Ben Fadden. I'm calling Ben out. No, he wasn't. He had a soft 7-game hitting streak.
I know.
Here's who he is this year. Negative WAR, 581 OPS.
Yeah, he's not good.
He's been terrible. Now, I'm not saying that's a reason not to play him. He's on an 11-year deal. Of course, you're going to play him. But don't sell me on that he was playing better. First of all, even if he was, he has since fractured his shoulder and been out 7 weeks. And take a deeper dive in the numbers. No, he wasn't. He had a 7-game hitting streak. Yeah. Every player in the big leagues that's a regular is going to have a 7-game hitting streak over the course of a year.
So back to my point of, if he returns this weekend and presumably going to be taking over for Donovan Solano, that's the easiest guess, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Unless he can start playing right field.
No, they're not going to do that off the IL.
He's not going to play right field.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest hole in this team right now is right field. But he's going to be returning. He's going to take over essentially everyday duties from Donovan Solano, correct?
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
They're going to find ways to get Donovan Solano in the lineup, but they're also not going to be taking out Manny for Donovan Solano. They're probably not going to be taking out Luis Ariza for Donovan Solano, and then Jake Cronenworth for Donovan Solano. Like, if anything, if you really want to dive in and really, really think about what the move should be, I'm sorry, but Xander's going back to shortstop. Ha-Seong Kim's been the odd man out here the entire season.
That's not happening.
Well, I'm trying to figure out solutions here, John.
The solution is this. I mean, I know what they're going to do. Solano's the odd man out. He's getting less time. You're plugging in a player. Ariza is DHing more. Cronenworth is playing first, and Bogarts is playing second. End of story, right? They move Bogarts to second. They're not moving him again. They told us in February Kim's the shortstop of the future for 2024, and Bogarts' future position is second. Now he's coming off a fractured shoulder, and they're going to mess with that? Donovan Solano's playing time is going to get squeezed in the short term. He's not going to not play. Mm-hmm. He's just not going to play every day. I mean, unless there's something else that I'm missing. Like, how are you going to get him in there if you've got Xander Bogaerts playing 6 out of every 7 days?
It's a, I guess, good problem to have. But at the same time, it all depends on how he plays. If he plays like he did in the first half before he got injured, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Donovan Solano sitting there on your bench who, oh, by the way, has done very, very well for you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to sacrifice that production because Xander's making the most money and he's got to be out there?
That goes back to my initial point. Like, if you're hurrying him back, he better be ready to perform at a very high level, because you're getting production from someone that isn't Xander Bogaerts. Mm-hmm. Nobody's saying it's healthy, but this guy in a year and a half in the Padres uniform has completely underperformed. He had a good April last year. He had a good September last year. He had 4 bad months. He's had 2 bad months this year. He's coming off a fractured shoulder. So, like, the expectation is you don't come back and work your way back in. Like, you come back and perform, or you're sitting someone that's better than you in Donovan Solano. But this isn't some hierarchy or like earned system. Xander Bogaerts is going to play in the second half of the year, even if he doesn't hit.
Well, then, if he returns, John, and he continues to play like he did in the first half, which was really bad, then what?
I mean, the question is how bad is bad. If he's the exact same player he's been,
580 something OPS,
I think he'll eventually lose time. You got all these off days in the second half. It's not like you're really like Xander's not going to need additional time off because they're going to have a lot of 5-game weeks and 6-game weeks. But I think if he's typically going to play 5 out of every 6 games, but he continues to struggle, maybe he goes down to 4 out of every 6. But it's not going to be 2 out of every 6.
Look, in this case, I will give Xander, even though I don't think he's earned it, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt here.
Okay.
I will give him the benefit of the doubt that when he returns, whether it be this weekend or tomorrow or whenever, that he will actually be much better than he was to start the year, which was replacement level at best production. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'll say he'll be better. But man, if he's not good, and if he's not giving you exactly at least what Donovan Solano's giving you, which is a 280 hitter, 790 something OPS, I believe, or 770 OPS. It's a high.
He's been great.
It's above 750's OPS.
He's been great.
He doesn't give you much power, obviously. He's not driving in a bunch of runs, but he is doing everything that you have asked of him and more, and producing when needed to. If he's not going to give you that, Xander Bogaerts, by I would say middle of August, John, like if he is not producing by the middle of August and this team isn't playing well, or they're kind of back and forth or whatnot, and we can definitively set or point to like moments where Xander had opportunities to come through and he didn't come through, like in the first half of the season, then I'm sorry, there's going to have to be tough conversations in that clubhouse. But again, I will give him the benefit of the doubt until proven otherwise.
Well, I'll walk down the path, though, that you just laid out, which is he returns. He gets off to a slower start or matches what he had done previously. The team doesn't take off, and they continue to be like this, and there are a few games over 500, but they play 500 baseball for a month. I don't think he loses his job, and I don't think he loses playing time, even though that's what's quote-unquote right, and you potentially have an option that's better suited than Xander Bogaerts. I don't see how you rock the boat with Xander Bogaerts in year 2 of an 11-year deal, $280 million, because he's not quote-unquote performing. Because it's better for the team, you're right. If it was a meritocracy, you're 100% right. If it's how it should work, in year 2, you're sitting Xander Bogaerts because you need to win games. I'm with you. That's how it should be. You actually see that happening? Like, seriously, Mike Shilt's AJ Preller and Mike Shildt are going to go to Xander and say, you're coming off the bench for the foreseeable future because we're only 2 games over 500 and you're struggling? No, I don't forecast it.
I don't. I'm with you. Trust me, if it were up to us, it'd be different.
Yeah, exactly.
If he did not perform, obviously. Right. Like, that's a big if here. If he performs, then that's great, and you don't have to worry about it. And frankly, if the team wins and he still doesn't perform, then it's also something that isn't the most glaring thing. It will still be an issue because the question would be, man, just imagine how much better the team would be if Xander was playing better. But again, I will give him the benefit of the doubt here.
That's fine.
I will just not assume, but hope that he will be better than he was in the first half. And that, like you say, John, in baseball, things tend to work themselves out.
They do.
So from that standpoint, I'm not sitting here hoping Xander doesn't succeed. I hope he does. I hope he comes back and he goes on a tear, because that would be such a huge boost for this Padres team. And frankly, a massive boost for Xander Bogaerts, because frankly, in his time here in the Padres uniform, it's not been good besides September last year. Was it? And the start of last season. So everything else has been awful. So I hope when he returns, he does perform, because what's happening, I'm sure he sees it, is he's taking a spot of a guy that is performing right now. He's taking a spot of a guy that has filled in and done way better than he was doing this year. And frankly, I would say you can point to the reason why the Padres had that, really good stretch that they went on, and have played really better baseball, because Donovan Solano's in the lineup. It's not a black hole like it was with Xander Bogaerts this season.
And it's not just that. He's had a clutch machine. He's come through in big spots. He's been a good two-strike hitter. He's hit with men on base. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know it's happened. Xander Bogaerts has been that player. He has failed to come through in the clutch as a Padre. He's been a double play machine in his 2 years, and he has not hit with men in scoring position. So, like, you factor all of that in, and that's why Bogarts is under a microscope, and that's why I say, and we both said it like weeks ago, like facetiously, like, take your time. Nobody's saying don't come back because they have a better option right now. Of course he's coming back. It's just a very interesting time to return. You're returning for the series before the All-Star break.
And then you're immediately going to sit for a week.
Yeah, it's a very interesting time to return. Hey, I'm coming back Friday for a 3-game series. I'm rushing back for Friday when the team's playing well for a 3-game series. Then I'm taking 4 days off. And maybe he has 6 hits this weekend against Atlanta. And maybe he does damage against the Braves again. I don't know what it was. Was it May 20th? I think they were in Atlanta. They won 3 out of 4. He made a diving play. He fractured his shoulder. You know, again, we're not professional athletes, Jim, but that's amazing. How do you fracture your shoulder? And it's a credit to it's amazing. May 20th, you fracture your shoulder, and he's been taking live BP and been rehabbing in games.
Maybe it was
that's amazing.
Maybe it was a tiny fracture, John.
I guess it was. Maybe
it was one of those like hairline fractures, if that's considered, I guess, tiny. I don't know.
Here's the other thing.
Doctor, I'm sorry.
Here's the other thing. So tonight is the Adam Mazur game. The only game that Adam Mazur is basically throwing in the last 10 before the All-Star break. This is like the Adam Mazur game. And you're going up against the All-Star and Logan Gilbert, and you're an underdog at home. Not a crazy underdog, but if you look at the numbers, Gilbert's a sub-3 ERA guy. Mazur's ERA is over 7. I would say this game specifically tonight, 1 of 2 against Seattle, 1 of 5 remaining, is like the hinge game. Do you quote-unquote steal it? And if you do, you can go 3-2 or better, no problem. In your mind, right? You win with Mazur against the All-Star Gilbert, you're going 3-2 or better, right? That's what you're thinking. You lose this game to get to that 3-2 mark, which is 5 games over 500 the break. You got to close 3-1 after tonight. So this to me is that like hingy. Can you provide offense for Mazur? Can Mazur give you something he hasn't given you tonight? Can you quote unquote? I don't know if you're stealing one at home, but you're certainly not the quote unquote favorite tonight against Logan Gilbert.
We will see if they can overcome
like SEA.
An Adam Mazur start once again.
Because they're playing Seattle.
Correct.
Love it. Love it.
Ba-dum-bum. Yeah, I look at tonight with Adam Mazur on the mound. Every time he's pitched, you're going to need to score a lot of runs. That's just how it works.
Right.
And frankly, they've actually done it. Like they've scored a good amount of runs in his starts, and they haven't been burned by an Adam Mazur start. As far, I mean, take that back. They haven't been burned by Adam Mazur's time here in San Diego, because if you looked at his time here, he's his high 7 ERA, and he walks a bunch of guys. He's not going to deep in games. Frankly, shouldn't probably even be here. But the team is scoring a lot of runs when he's on the mound, and they have a winning record when he starts in games this year.
4-2,
which is fantastic, regardless of how he's pitching.
Yep.
Who cares? As long as they get the win in his starts, that's what matters the most. Tonight will be a tough test, though, against Logan Gilbert, who is an all-star, who has been pitching really well this year for the Seattle Mariners. And if you can, like you said, steal tonight, you feel really good heading into the final 4 games of this first half, where we said 3-2 is pretty much what we are all hoping for and expecting. No, I mean, not expecting, but hoping for. 3-2, you get to the break 5 up. You feel pretty good.
I think you feel great if you do that. And by the way, it'll further cement if they win tonight. Again, because on paper, you say Gilbert, Mazur. Yeah, that's going to be a hard game to win. Seattle's not a bad team. They're a good team. They're better than the Padres based on record. Very close, but a game better than the Padres. You win this, it further cements the idea that this team just has something. They have this factor, this it, that they find ways. They overcome deficits. They overcome being without Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove. Like, if you win tonight, it speaks to that. I ultimately think Mazur's not starting every 5th day for this team, even with Darvish out and Musgrove out. I think they deal with starting pitching at some point in the next 3 weeks. But in the short term, if Adam Mazur's pitching now, if he's pitching before the trade deadline, another, 2 outings after the All-Star break, whatever it is, maybe 3. I mean, you're 4-2 with him on the mound. If you can get to 5-3 or 6-4 or whatever it is, you should feel good about that.
And by the way, we're all sitting here waiting for what AJ Preller is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
There's already been moves. The Mets today made a move for a relief pitcher, an old friend, Phil Maton. I'm not saying that's like a game-changing type of move, but, I think to just say we're going to wait till the deadline to make a move, and by we, I mean, like, if I'm AJ Preller, I don't think you can, maybe afford to do that, depending on if you want to pitch Mazur 2 times during this next road trip to come out the All-Star break.
No, it's a fair point. I just think sometimes it's hard to get things done. Preller has a way. Winners find solutions. He found Luis Ariz.
Winners find solutions,
to quote Mike Shildt. All right, here's what we're going to do. Of course, we're going to get back to the Padres and the Mariners and the return of Xander Bogaerts potentially as early as this weekend. You can hit us up on the talkback, Mike. Should they wait on Bogaerts until after the All-Star break or not? We'd love to hear from you. Just open the free iHeartRadio app, listen to San Diego Sports 760, tap that little red microphone icon next to the play button to leave a 30-second talkback. We can get to your responses later this hour. On the other side, our first look at San Diego State men's basketball in 2024-25. They've been practicing for the last 2 weeks. Brian Dutcher, San Diego State's 8th-year men's basketball head coach. That's hard to believe. He's entering season number 8 on the Mesa. Brian Dutcher, San Diego State's head coach, will join us next on Jon and Jim. Brian Dutcher getting ready for season 8 as head coach on the Mesa. Let's take a look at this 24-25 roster with Dutch. He'll join us next.
This update is brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Padres return back to action tonight. 6:40 first pitch, 2-game series versus the Seattle Mariners. Logan Gilbert, the all-star for Seattle, will be on the mound for them against Adam Major for the Padres. This free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and help you save time and money down the road. Restrictions do apply. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
All right, keep up with San Diego Sports 760 anytime, anywhere, whether you're stepping out of the car or settling in at home. Just ask your Google or Alexa smart speaker to play AM 760 or stream it live through the iHeartRadio app. It's never been easier to stay connected with your favorite shows like this one. San Diego Sports 760 goes where you go. Are they rushing Bogarts back? You can hit us up on that talkback mic. We'll play your responses later this hour. Open the free iHeartRadio app. Listen to San Diego Sports 760. Tap that little red microphone icon next to the play button to leave a 30-second talkback. We're expected to be joined by Brian Dutcher momentarily. I told you yesterday, Jim, I was at practice.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
You were
not invited.
Well, it's not that you weren't invited. It's just you didn't get an invitation.
They just didn't want you to be there.
That's the same thing as not getting an invite.
Right. I think in theory you are invited, but I don't think it's an open invitation.
Okay.
But we can discuss that potentially.
It's Brian okay. Dutcher. It's okay. I'll just live vicariously through you anyway.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right, let's catch up with Dutch. Brian Dutcher getting ready for year 8 as head coach at San Diego State. That is hard to believe. Practice underway for the upcoming season. Great seeing Dutch yesterday. We're just talking about practice on the Mesa underway. Dutch, we appreciate your time on 760, home of the Aztecs and Jon and Jim. So tell us about this new group because it really is new for you. All these new faces heading into next year, and thanks for joining us as always.
Yeah, it's part of the excitement, Jon. Got a lot of new guys out there, and they're getting to show us what they're about in early practice, summer practice, and so I'm excited. I like the pieces we've added. We seem to be coming together at a really early stage of the season, and that's exciting.
And what excites you the most about this new group that you have with the new faces, like the whole process of it? What excites you about that?
Just energy. They got great energy about them, and they got talent. So talent and energy is a great way to start. We've got length that we've had in the past. So that bodes well for our defensive-minded program. And we've got great verbal leadership out of returning players, and the new guys aren't afraid. They're verbal and they're talking, and that's always a good way to start.
So let's talk about some of the players that you have back, Dutch, and we can get into some of the newcomers as well. But I'm thinking about your second-year players. You always talk about how, like, for a freshman forward, it's a huge jump. And Miles Heide made that a year ago. He's getting ready for his second season. Then B.J. Davis a year ago was behind a lot of veteran guards. He's getting ready for his second season. What progress have you seen from those two?
Yeah, Miles Heide, the hardest position to play as a freshman is the center position because you're playing on eggshells in high school, and then you get to college, and you're going against Jaden Ledee every day in practice. And so Miles had a right in the last year and did a great job, and now you can see his growth as a player, as a young man, physically getting bigger, stronger. So I'm excited what Miles is bringing this year. BJ, was a little bit overwhelmed as a freshman, like anybody would be. You're going against Lamont Butler, Darian Trammell, two guys that played in the national championship game. And so BJ looks good. He looks like he's caught stride. He's playing with great confidence. And so these are guys I'm sure Aztec fans will say, well, geez, they weren't very productive last year. But they're right on tack to where they're supposed to be.
Aztecs fans have been talking about Magoon Gwath here for a while. It's like the unknown, where we haven't seen much from him or much about him, but there's a lot of buzz about his game. What's the expectations for him this upcoming season, and what's his game that fans can be excited about this upcoming year?
Just his versatility. To have that kind of versatility for a guy that's 7 foot tall is pretty rare. And what that will mean as a freshman, we'll see. But he's got an ability to play facing the basket, attack off closeout, shoot the ball, and when he's in around the basket, he's hard to deal with at 7 foot. All he's lacking is strength, and he's got more strength than he had a year ago. So we're excited about Magoon. We're excited about what he'll bring to this year's Aztec team.
Brian Dutcher with us right now, Aztecs head coach, home of the Aztecs San Diego Sports 760, and Jon and Jim. And seeing your freshmen yesterday, they don't look like freshmen. They don't look like I looked when I was a freshman. I know that. I mean, Farrell Compton, Taj DeGorville, David Majot. Tell us about these incoming freshmen and your expectations and how they're fitting in right now.
I think over the last couple of years, Aztec fans have forgot we used to start some freshmen, whether it's Nathan 4 years. And these are those kind of freshmen. These are talented freshmen that are definitely going to play and contribute this year. And we'll have an opportunity to maybe crack one of those starting spots as the season goes on. So these aren't your typical freshmen. These are kids that are coming in physically ready. Taj is 6'5" with a 7 foot wingspan. Farrow is 6'7", 6'8" with a 7'4" wingspan. They have length, they have athleticism, and they have strength.
How do you feel about your upcoming non-conference schedule to start this upcoming 2024 season?
So it's going to be tough. I mean, we're playing in the NIL event, and we'll open that with Texas A&M. After that, I'm not sure what the bracket looks like, but the Texas A&M team that's going to be ranked. We'll play Gonzaga at home, ranked team, top 5 team, and then you could run into anybody. You could run into Creighton. You could run into Alabama. All those teams are going to be in the NIL event. And then you've got Cal in a neutral game that'll be much improved. And so it's going to be a challenging schedule, but we never duck anybody. We play a hard schedule.
And with the NIL event that you mentioned, just how important is that for the program? I mean, it's this new event this year. Obviously, NIL in college basketball and throughout college athletics is, everything right now, it seems. Like, for this program and you guys to be in this NIL tournament, how just important it is for you and your players as well?
It provides everything we want: elite competition, and then an opportunity to get money to put into the Mesa Foundation, where we can continue to build our program through NIL. And that's just the nature of the game right now. So if we want to be a part of it, then we have to invest in NIL, and our leg to do that is the Mesa Foundation.
Brian Dutcher with us right now, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. So, Dutcher, it wasn't that long ago you transfer, you sit out. We saw Malachi Flynn, even Jaden Ledee within the last couple of years, but everything has changed, and guys like Nick Boyd and Wayne McKinney and also Jared Coleman-Jones are going to have opportunities immediately. What type of challenge is that for them to just seamlessly fit in to what you're doing with your program?
I mean, that's the key to recruiting. It's not just taking guys that are talented and don't fit your system. These guys were all guys that we brought in for visits. We basically vetted as they vetted us. We vetted them and tried to make sure they were good fits for our culture. They are, and they've been that already in practice. The way they approach the game, the way they play the game, they're going to be great fits for our Aztec program.
Reese Waters played really well at the start of last season. And then towards the end of the year, he was on the bench, but making contributions off the bench in as like a 6-man role. For this season, Dutch, what's your expectations for him and for the growth of his game? What do you want to see coming on into this year?
I think Reese's game will expand this year. I mean, it was partially on me to bring him off the bench at the end of the year. It's tough to do. You know, when you're playing those middle minutes, that's always hard. You press a little bit, and it doesn't come as easy. When you start, you know you have the starting minutes, and then you have that end of the half minute segment. So you know what you're expecting. Those middle minutes are always hard, and Reese did a good job in that role, but obviously was much more effective as a starter, and that's what my intention is, to have him back in that lineup and see what he's capable of doing.
What about your hopes for Miles Byrd, who's entering his third year with the program? Now, he didn't have much of an opportunity early because he was on a national championship caliber team that went to a national championship 2 seasons ago, but he really burst onto the scene last year coming off your bench, had some huge games and moments. What growth is expected or still to come from Miles?
This is his year. This is supposed to be his year. It's his third year in the program. All the lessons learned, he has to put out there on the floor now. He has to play with the freedom he plays with, and Aztec fans know Bird is exciting. He's capable of doing some great things, but he has to do them at a more consistent level. He's got to be more reliable decision maker. But when Miles is playing at his best, there are few players better than him in the conference.
I know you mentioned it before, the importance of NIL in this tournament and the role Mesa Foundation plays, but I'll open the floor for you again, Dutch, for our listeners. I think a lot of them are aware of the Mesa Foundation. Some have probably contributed, but how crucially important is the Mesa Foundation for your program now and into the future as well?
Yeah, we have to raise money in order to be competitive in today's game, and we're not paying players like you're seeing some of these other programs in the country, and what we provide through the Mesa Foundation is a service to the city of San Diego. We do outreach, we do youth outreach. We're not just pay for play. We're trying to impact the city of San Diego in positive ways through the Mesa Foundation. And like I said, you don't have to be a huge giver. Anything helps, and it makes a difference. It makes a difference in the city. It makes a difference for our program. And we're just grateful for all the fans that feel that it's important that San Diego State basketball is important to them and important to the city of San Diego.
You can support San Diego State men's and women's basketball by going to MesaFoundationSD.org. That is MesaFoundationSD.org. Dutch, it was great to see you and your team yesterday getting ready for another season here at San Diego State. We always appreciate it. Have a great summer. We'll do it again in the months ahead, and thanks for hopping on.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, great stuff with Brian Dutcher, head coach at San Diego State. We'll react on the other side. Brendan Hill will join us, San Diego State's NIL coordinator. They've got an EA Sports College Football 25 event coming up next week that we'll talk about with Brendan Hill. On the other side as well, we'll get your talkbacks. Are they rushing Xander Bogaerts back too soon or not? You can hit us up on the talkback mic. Just open the free iHeartRadio app. Listen to San Diego Sports 760. Tap that little red microphone icon next to the play button to leave a 30-second talkback. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, is Xander Bogaerts coming back too soon or not? You can hit us up on the Talkback mic. Just open the free iHeartRadio app. Listen to San Diego Sports 760. Tap that little microphone icon. We'll play your talkbacks on the other side. Plus, Brendan Hill, San Diego State's NIL coordinator at 4 p.m. Stay with us. All right, Jon and Jim back with you. We're going to talk some San Diego State name, image, and likeness. Brendan Hill, San Diego State's NIL coordinator, coming up at 4 p.m. in studio. Those are really cool. I know. We talked about this game a little bit. Like anything. I know. And the great part is, neither one of us have a PS5. That's a big deal. You have to have that to play this game. Yeah, last time I checked, you actually have to have the system console. And you have to get the game separate. And then you can play it. But Brett has a PS5. He does. I know. So I told him we have to have you bring in your console and play it on the television. Okay. So it's easy to do that. Easier. Wait, easier. Let's just go to Brett. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm sure we're about the show. Let's go to Brett. We're getting here from Manny Machado coming up in a moment. Now, what does Manny Machado say? Jim, I don't know. What is Manny Machado talking about? Well, he was asked a couple things about All-Star game with 5 All-Stars making it, the trade deadline, and how it is to be social media scrum. Yeah, it's media scrum. Xander Bogaerts returning his impact there. From him, talking about All-Star selections and the process that it goes through, he said that he's not a fan of the way that the Silver Slugger, Gold Glove, All-Star voting goes down. Pointing to politics and deserving players who get snubbed. Quote, look at Christian Walker. Red Hot. Who should be an All-Star over Pete Alonso. Is Pete Alonso the only next player that's All-Star this year? I don't know the answer to that, but it's possible. They're under 500. Because they need a that makes sense. Said that the fan voting is fine, but Major League Baseball needs to fix the rest of it. Well, how would you do that, I wonder? Maybe he talks on that, because if you don't because right now players and coaching staffs are the ones that vote on who gets in as a reserve, which, I mean, players and coaching staffs, what are you going to do? Go to executives?
Well, the problem is a lot of the voting that happens for these awards are from people that don't watch every game. And it's also
it's
really hard
to do that
to watch every game. And a lot of times awards are given out for, to guys that have been around for a long time or have a reputation. Like, how many Gold Gloves that Nolan Arenado has, and those are a lot of reputation awards. Like a couple of years, he should not have won the Gold Glove over Manny Machado, plain and simple.
Sure.
But when you have a reputation, more often than not, you're getting these awards based on just reputation. So,
but wouldn't that sometimes also apply to a player like Manny Machado?
Well, why do you think he's probably speaking out about this?
But I mean, doesn't it kind of benefit a Manny Machado?
Why do you think he's probably speaking out about it? Because he's not getting any benefits from these awards and the voting.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I guess the times he's been in the All-Star game, he's earned it.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like this year would have been a stretch if Machado was in, and I would have said, well, it's based on reputation. Then Machado, and by the way, I've credited them getting Merrill into the game as a first-year player as a reserve. He doesn't have the, he doesn't have the build-up. Like, he doesn't have the cachet from the players, Jackson Merrill. All right, Manny Machado with the media. We'll play a talk back as well coming up in a moment, but here's Manny Machado.
I mean, it's going to be huge. I mean, obviously, Xander is a big part of this team and this organization. So, having him back healthy, I think is the most important part. But, having him in the lineup is just going to make this lineup even better. So, we just need him healthy and back into the lineup to get us over that little hump that we're in.
I know you've been doing your thing out there on the field, but how do you feel? I mean, I would imagine you're still working back and you're still rehabbing.
Yeah, just continue to work. I mean, every day feel better. Some good days, some bad days. But just trying to limit the good days as best as I can and get better. Hopefully, these 4 days off kind of just reset. Kind of hits well, but it's some good days, some bad days. I mean, it's an up and down road, and at this point of the season, I think it's just you just gotta put your head down and go.
When AJ Preller is your general manager, what are the final few weeks before the trade deadline like?
I don't know. I mean, it was, our objective and has always been go out there and play. I think we got to go out there and win games. I think at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters. We got to put ourselves in a good position to reach our goal, which is to make it to the postseason and get deep into the postseason and hopefully bring a championship to the city. So, that's our only mindset here going into it. And, everything else is out of our hands.
With how this team has played, though, with all the different injuries you guys have had, do you expect that you guys might be a little bit busy?
Honestly, I got rehab, I got weight room, I got gym, I got batting cage. I don't think I need to put anything else on my plate to be thinking about those things, baby. So go out there and play. I think at the end of the day, we gotta, with the group of guys that we have in here, go out there and perform, compete every single night like we've been doing. We've been doing a tremendous job overall. There's still more to go and more to come, but just keep doing that every single night, and that's the most important.
Hey, he's got batting practice to take care of.
Oh, I have a baby too.
Oh, it's a baby. No, I got a baby I got to take care of.
Spend some time with the baby.
I do understand that aspect of it, like from Manny's point of view of for us, it's like 3 to 6. We focus 3 to 6. Everything else works itself out. 3 to 6 is our show. Manny's like, look, I got to focus on this. I got to focus on this. If I'm focusing or trying to have any attention towards what our general manager is doing, that's stuff that's out of my control. That's stuff that I'm not going to worry about. I need to be as healthy as I possibly can for my team. I need to worry about getting better. I need to worry about this. I need to worry about that. Whatever AJ does, he's going to do. And frankly, he doesn't need to worry because he's not going anywhere, so it doesn't matter.
The last person in the world you should worry about is AJ Preller.
Correct.
He's got it under control. If you're worried about AJ Preller not desiring to improve his roster, you're worrying about the wrong things. Like this guy will obsess over it, and we don't know what he's able to do. It takes two to tango, and he's not going to move the entire farm in an effort to improve 2024, but he will move pieces in an effort to improve this team. All right, let's hear one of these talkbacks that's on the Talkback mic. You can open the free iHeartRadio app, listen to San Diego Sports 760, hit the microphone icon if you ever want to leave a talkback. This is on Xander Bogaerts. All right, let him rest. I'm kind of on team talkback, but I get it.
I'm on team talkback too, but I also do get it because if he is ready to go, what are we waiting for? You know, like just go out there and play. Go out there, get some at bats. Hopefully, get the rust off before the start of the second half, maybe. And if you feel good enough, then that's a great sign. But if you don't, then it's like, okay, maybe I need a couple of days to rest here. So again, if he's ready to go, then throw him out there. But if he's not, then we'll see pretty quickly. Like I feel like we'll see if he's not ready.
We will. All right. On the other side, let's learn about this college football 25 launch event going on with San Diego State at Novo Brazil Mission Valley next Thursday. We have Brendan Hill, San Diego State's name, image, and likeness coordinator, with us in studio. He'll join us on the other side. Really cool event next week with the new game, with Sean Lewis, with football players, opportunities to play, win prizes, and much, much more. So we'll learn about it on the other side. Hour 2, Jon and Jim next.
All right, this update is brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Padres return back to action tonight at Petco Park. 6:40 first pitch. Just a quick 2-game series versus the Seattle Mariners. They'll go up against All-Star Logan Gilbert tonight for the Mariners. And Adam Major will start for the Padres. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and help you save time and money down the road. Restrictions do apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Jon and Jim. The Mariners fly into Petco for a pair. We'll break down the matchup, and we ramp up for the Mountain West Media Days tomorrow and Thursday. Now, it's time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 2, Jon and Jim with you until 6 p.m. Good hour ahead. In fact, Brendan Hill is with us in studio. He's San Diego State's NIL coordinator. We'll talk about the Aztecs NIL efforts, an event coming up on the 18th. Related to San Diego State football and this brand new EA Sports College football video game. Bryce Miller from the Union Tribune, who wrote an article about the Padres, not San Diego State, although he does write about San Diego State. He wrote about the Padres and the others, quote unquote, the depth of the Padres. Bryce will join us coming up at 4:30. But Brendan, appreciate you swinging by, and thanks for hopping on today.
Yeah,
man.
Happy to be here. Been wanting to get on.
I know we've been talking about this
a long time, and I think it's the perfect. What better moment than right now?
All right, so name, image, and likeness is like a term that a lot of people even weren't familiar with maybe like 24 months ago. Yep. It's now like this hot button topic, obviously, in collegiate athletics. So discuss your role. I mean, you work with the university, with San Diego State on the NIL front. What does that mean for you day in and day out?
Yeah, anything that's NIL related, NIL adjacent, and it has San Diego State associated with it, it comes across my desk and it's under my purview. So I work with our collectives, I work with our student athletes, our coaches, our administrators, really. And right now we're in a phase of trying to raise awareness about how people and brands can get involved in NIL. So we have our social media, and we really just try and amplify and celebrate our student athletes when they do deals, so people can actually recognize what it is instead of like all the fear mongering that we hear about what NIL is. So
what's the most common question that you get when it comes to name, image, and likeness from maybe somebody that doesn't really understand it, or if you're talking to a student athlete, like what's the most common question that you usually get?
Yeah. From our student athletes usually is, how do I get my money?
Yeah, that's probably the best. Yeah,
that's usually the number one question from them.
Pay me my money.
Yeah, they're like, how do I cash out?
Show me the money. Yeah.
But fundamentally, I think just NIL isn't new. It's new to college athletics, right? Yeah. Celebrities and professional athletes have been leveraging their name, image, and likeness forever for endorsement deals and financial gain, right? And ironically, EA Sports was the impetus between allowing student athletes in this new generation to have NIL rights, because Ed O'Bannon sued over his name, image, and likeness being in the video game back in the day. So for it to kind of come full circle, and EA to release this game, it's a huge opportunity. But fundamentally, I think people just don't realize that it's just endorsement deals. It's just brand influencing and marketing. And if you have a business, you can get involved. And I think the collective piece has kind of convoluted it a little bit because people don't understand that. But even when I talk about collectives, they're essentially booster clubs, fan clubs, right? They help raise money to support the teams. And as much as we can get the word out about how simple it is, I think that'll help people get involved.
All right, so San Diego State's NIL coordinator, Brendan Hill, is with us right now in studio. We're going to talk about this event coming up, Novo, Brazil, Mission Valley, spectacular place, wonderful supporters of San Diego State. We'll talk about that coming up. But you mentioned these collectives. I think a lot of Aztec fans are familiar with, well, there's the Mesa Foundation supporting San Diego State men's and women's basketball student athletes. There's Aztec Link that's associated with football and some other student athletes as well at San Diego State. Take us through the whole process, your role, but also working with these collectives, Aztec Link and Mesa Foundation, and how that all works.
Yeah, so we're in a fortunate situation that we have collectives that support our entire student athlete population in our institution. There are two collectives. A lot of schools have one, but I think we have a really good system. Aztec Link supports primarily football, but then they branch out into every other sport outside of men's and women's basketball. So J.R. Tover, Mike Coleman, those guys do a great job running that one. And then Mesa Foundation obviously helps support men's and women's basketball. So they actually have a really cool event coming up at Novo again later this month with Coach Terry and the women's basketball team. But essentially, they do a great job of engaging the community in Mesa's case, engaging causes to, bring our student athletes out. I was at the ALS walk last year, and, they mentioned that the San Diego chapter had raised, almost the most money in the country, right? And then our group that we brought to that event helped raise the most at that event, right? So I think when you see the impact that student athletes have in their community and how it helps them connect and set themselves up with jobs or, just networking, I think people will really rally around what NIL could be. But yeah, the collectives are a great thing, especially when we're aligned with them. I think the hardest part for some of my peers across the country is when the collectives are a little bit rogue or they feel like they're playing, EA Sports college football with their big pot of money or something like that. But thankfully, we don't have that issue here.
Speaking of EA Sports College Football 25, this event at Novo later this month. Tell us about that. How did that come about? And just how, I guess, has the game influenced and helped with NIL going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, fundamentally, I think when you do the math, they're going to pay about $600 or more to have a varsity about cost of living, gas, food, different things like that. That means a lot to a college student. So a lot of people were up in arms about I think it's better and getting the game back out there and creating fans, right? This next generation of fans that are going to grow up playing Aztecs in the game, starting a dynasty, playing Aztec fast football. Like, I think we can't underestimate how important it is to growing the brand. But our student athletes are super amped, super excited. They're in my office every day. We got a list of guys that will be in the game.
That's awesome.
And what's going to happen, just so fans know, the roster won't be completely accurate in this first launch next week, but they're like Madden and everything else. They're going to update the rosters as time goes.
That's awesome.
So guys will, have a chance. And I told our freshmen, I'm like, and this is my message anyway, but keep the main thing, right? You're in my office. You just got here.
Yeah.
You need to be trying to get on the too deep, right?
Right.
You get on the too deep, everything else will take care of itself.
For sure.
So excited for our student athletes to have this opportunity.
In this event, I know the release is on the 19th.
Yes.
So technically this is like a pre-release party for the game. So if you want to check out the game, it's pretty much like before the public can get it, right?
Yeah. And I even taking it a step back, it was Coach Lewis's brainchild too, but yes, it is a preview of the game. And checked with EA. I was like, hey, we want to do this event. What's a window that we could maybe get the game in advance, but still not undercut what you all are trying to do? And they gave us a range of dates, and I felt like the 18th was a good date. The 19th, the game is available to the public, so yes, you can preview it. Coach Lewis will be there. Like I said, I was in Ruben's office, and Coach walked by, and he was like, we should turn that into an event. We should do something with that. And I think that just says a lot about Coach Lewis and his thought process around engaging our community and really immersing himself in San Diego.
Well, I mean, he mentioned a story when he first got hired here at his press conference that he actually won a recruit over by playing him in Madden.
Yeah.
And I think he beat him in Madden, and that's how he got the recruit to come to play for him.
Yeah,
so
and he has a younger son, Rory, and I know they're probably going to have it in their household, and we're going to have some giveaways. I asked EA for a couple copies and codes. I heard you guys talking in here about, maybe we'll auction those up for you guys. But ultimately, it's going to be a great event. Novo is a great partner of SDSU. They've hosted a number of events. Tiago and his team there are awesome, and we really appreciate their support. So yeah, please come out and support us.
All right. So if you want to go, this is free and open to the public.
Yep.
It is Thursday, July 18th. It's at Novo Brazil Mission Valley, which if you haven't been, is spectacular. I mean, there's no sports bar in the city like Novo Brazil Mission Valley.
And we're going to put it up on the big, like
those wide
big
screens.
We're going to have 2 big screens. It's going to be routed through the venue. So you'll be able to watch as the student athletes are playing. I think the only hang up I told Ruben, joke with them, is like, who's everybody else going to pick? Like, okay,
right. San Diego State,
Aztec
San
play
Diego State,
each
yeah.
other.
Yeah.
So you go to goaztecs.com/EA Sports and you can register. It's free. goaztecs.com/EA Sports. Again, goaztecs.com/EA Sports. It's 4 to 7:30 on Thursday. Sean Lewis is going to be there. Student athletes are going to be there. Advanced gameplay, live DJ, free EA posters, autographs, prizes, and more. So for those that have, I mean, it's been 10 years, 11 years since this game came out. Does this game, for those that are like layman's like I am, this game's gonna have like Snapdragon Stadium?
Yes, John.
Yeah,
if it's in the game, it's in the game.
It's got everything,
there
right?
we go.
I mean, it's got all the detail that like Aztec fans would expect. Like Snapdragon Stadium to a T is
so
in this
one
game.
of the and I haven't seen it yet, but one of the cool things about my role, probably back in January, EA reached out and asked for certain assets, right? So I had to like scrounge up some photos and different things of Snapdragon or the entrance or the Warrior Walk and all these types of things to give them for inspiration for them to design the gameplay. So hopefully, since I was the person who delivered those assets, hopefully they did a good job of
it's all on you.
Yeah,
if it's not in there, then we're blaming you.
Yeah, no pressure. But yeah, that was really cool for me. I was in the game back in the day as a student athlete, way back in like 2006, so I know what it feels like as a student athlete to be in the game and play yourself. So it's a really cool opportunity. And as we were kicking it around internally, I really have to give a lot of credit to Ruben. He, he kind of kept encouraging me, to like, hey man, let's do this. Like, don't, because sometimes it can be challenging to bring these ideas to life.
Oh yeah.
But like I said, reaching out to Tiago, they were super receptive and really can't wait for everybody to get to Novo and come out and bring the kids, bring the family. There's a dog park right outside. There's some great Aztec kombucha on deck and all those types of things. And hopefully we can get you guys out there too. That'd be
awesome. We can just put the game, tell the kids, put the game on rookie mode. Play Boise State and beat them by like 110 points
over and over
again.
Yeah.
Just no mercy.
Yeah. The funny thing about it is going to be how they handle like conference realignment and like,
NIL, you can change the
like,
conference and stuff.
People tampering with rosters and
I'm gonna tamper so much, dude.
I remember, I think I was at a Novo event, actually, one of these alumni events this spring, and I asked Coach Lewis, I said, hey, are the guys excited? Like you said, these guys are so amped. He's like, are you kidding me? It's like the day there was some form to fill out.
Yes.
Everything else takes forever for anyone to do, right? Yeah. But the day they had to have the form back for this to be in the game, they all got it back to you.
I got a call from a high school commit. He's enrolled now, but at the time he's like, hey, Mr. Hill, I'm actually on my lunch break. And I'm like, lunch break in high school, calling me about getting in the EA Sports.
Is that right?
Game. And but they couldn't get in the game technically until they had their SDSU email addresses. So really excited to see what Aztec Fast looks like.
Brendan, but before you go, for our listeners that are just curious, or maybe they're looking for ways for their business to support San Diego State's NIL efforts, where do they go? GoAztecs.com?
Yeah, so we just revamped our website, GoAztecs.com. There's an Aztec NIL drop down there, and that'll tell you everything you need to know. You can follow us on social media at Aztec_NIL. And yeah, we're here and available for any questions people might have. And like I said, we try and do a good job of celebrating and showcasing what NIL actually looks like, so people know, how they can get involved.
I have a question about the program. It's not about NIL, but just the program and Sean Lewis and like your thoughts on what he has done so far. It's very early in the process, but just how he is potentially changing the culture and bringing his brand of culture to this program. What are your thoughts on him so far?
Yeah, I think ultimately it's a lot of energy, obviously, Aztec Fast. But, one thing I will say is they're a not a do as I say type of group. They lead by example. So you'll see Coach Lewis, I'll pull into the garage and he'll be out on the field like doing burpees and working out and like, his whole staff, they're just super down to earth, super engaged. And I love Coach Hoke. I got here when he was transitioning out, but the energy I would say is new. And like I said, the new faces, so they don't have any of the jadedness that may have come along with what happened last year. All these guys that are coming in, whether they're a transfer, a new guy, or a returning student athlete, they're ready to get that, that experience of winning and bringing us a championship.
All right. If you want to play along the College Football 25 launch event with San Diego State players and the head coach, Sean Lewis, it is next Thursday, Novo Brazil, Mission Valley, free event, 4 to 7:30, advanced gameplay, live DJ, free EA posters, autographs, prizes, and more. Just go to GoAztecs.com, GoAztecs.com/EA Sports. You can RSVP at GoAztecs.com/EA Sports. Brendan, Our pleasure, man. We're looking forward to the event next week. We appreciate you swinging by here in the studio, and anytime you're welcome. Any NIL efforts at the university involving athletics you want to share with our listeners, you're always welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys, and thank you for all that you guys do supporting the not just San Diego State, but the greater San Diego sports community. It's a pleasure keeping up with what you guys do. So thank you for having me.
Thanks, man.
Brendan Hill, San Diego State's NIL coordinator. Again, go aztecs.com/EA Sports to RSVP. We'll switch gears back to the Padres on the other side. Bryce Miller, columnist with the Union Tribune, writing about the Padres' depth as a difference between 2023 and 2024. He will join us on the other side. We're with you until 6 p.m. It's Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Padres return back to action tonight at Petco Park for a 2-game series versus the Mariners. 6-4 with the All-Star for the Mariners. Bound for them against Adam Major for the Padres. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and help you save time and money down the road. Restrictions to apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
All right, we have Xander Bogaerts updates from Mike Shildt. We'll share with you this hour coming up. With Bryce Miller, columnist with the UT, will join us in about 5 minutes. We're running about the Padres. Their depth is a difference between 2023 and 2024. So the columnist with the UT, Bryce Miller, will join us in about 5 minutes. But we will get an update on Xander Bogaerts. It's good to talk to Brandon Hill, talk a little EA Sports College Football 25.
How bad do you want to buy a PS5 now?
You know what? Kristen would divorce me. So you have to weigh those two things. Do I want to play the game? Yeah. I got to buy the system, which is $500. I got to buy the game $70. I got to get a divorce, whatever that costs.
Thousands.
Just to play the game. Is that worth it? I would argue no, based on the divorce element.
But I can also throw in more podcasting opportunities.
Because you podcast while playing the game or something?
No, because you'll have a divorce.
Oh, because of the divorce, I could just work every second of every day.
Right.
I love this idea.
You can do
text Kristen.
You can have 5 different YouTube channels with
I have
5.
3.
I know, but you can add 2 more.
Yes.
And then you can also play the game nonstop. Dude, it'll be fun for a month. And then you'll get lonely and be like, what the hell did I do with my life? But other than that, the month will be fun.
What's it called? The little PlayStations?
Oh, those are way old.
Or the little Nintendos, Game Boys.
They don't make
They're
this
newer
for the
than
Game
that.
Boy. They don't make this for the Game Boy.
The Switch.
You're living in 20.
That's what I'm saying. I need the portable game because again, if I played this thing at home, Krista would murder me. But if I bought the portable system and then played it at work, she wouldn't know.
Technically, it's not a portable system anymore. You have to own the PS5, but there's ways that you can play it outside of your house, but you still have to buy the
I'm
PS5.
telling you, if we hopefully get down to Novo on the 18th and you see the gameplay and you watch it, you are going to be wanting that so
Well, I already
bad.
want it.
I know.
But I don't have it.
But the thing is, once you see it, you'll know, and then you'll be like, okay, I need this game. And that's where my problem is, where I just got married.
Is Aaron cool with you playing video games all day? You're already podcasting all night.
Let me answer that for you.
The answer is no.
No.
And is she cool with you being like, hey, honey, I took $600 out of the account to buy controllers and systems and games?
But see, if I buy the system, right, and she usually goes to bed at 9:30, I can just play the game after the wrap-up show.
Oh, so just spend no time with Aaron.
Well, she'll be sleeping. That's the point.
That's the point.
Or when she goes to work, I have.
Oh, it's true. You don't work until 3. And I know what you do before work, which is nothing.
No, I do.
You have a 6-hour window.
No, I do things. I do.
But he'll be at all those Aztec practices and.
True.
Oh wait.
Oh yeah. Well, I have to have my Aztecs practice in the game.
Can you fit it in between Disney Plus episodes and shows?
Of course I can.
You could fit in time. Is what you're saying.
Can. Yes, I'm gonna have the itch the second I see this gameplay, dude.
I want to put actually a poll out on our X.
Okay.
That says are you buying the new EA Sports College Football 25 video game? Because I'm intrigued. Is that of interest to our listeners? Are our listeners a little outside of the demo? Our listeners are people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. But I'm not asking.
We don't want that demo.
No, I know. But I'm asking, are people in their 40s like myself playing this game? Because they did play it when they were 29, but now they're 40, but it's been 11 years.
Brent's going to play it.
Yeah,
I know Brent is. But I'm asking people in addition to Brent.
Yes.
You guys will be lucky if I even show up to work on that Friday.
Because here's the thing. The game, it's been over a decade since we have seen an EA Sports college football game.
I know.
A decade ago, say people were in their 30s or late 20s.
Well, they could. No, you were just 10 years younger.
I know. Now, those same people that love that game are now 10 years older,
right?
And probably in their 40s. Or mid 40s. And so, yeah, the demos remains the same.
Dude, it's like when I went to Dave Matthews in 1997, everyone's young. It's all these college kids, probably even high schoolers. You go to Dave Matthews now, and they're the same age as me.
Yeah.
Which is a little weird that the whole like process plays out. Like I'm sure if you went to the Rolling Stones in the 60s, everyone was young. I think if you go to the Rolling Stones today, they might not be 25-year-olds in the crowd, would be my guess.
Probably right.
Anyway, we're going to try to get over there at some point.
We're going to try.
In some way, next Thursday, Nova Brazil Brewing Mission Valley.
We should just go.
Yeah, just go.
Yeah.
Just figure it out.
Just go. Who cares?
Just don't do the show. Just
no, do the show, but just
do the show from there.
Do the show from there.
I like that. I like that.
We could figure it out.
All right, Bryce Miller is going to join us coming up in a moment, columnist with the Union Tribune. He's writing about the depth of the Padres. Like, it's these pieces, the Donovan Solanos. It's not necessarily the Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts misses 2 months. Team doesn't skip a beat. The back of this bullpen, Jeremiah Estrada, where do they find this dude? On waivers. And he's put together one of the better halves of any reliever in baseball, truthfully, Jeremiah Estrada. So we've talked about that. You've spent 2 years talking about the others needing to step up. This year, the others have done exactly that.
They have been the heart and soul of this team. Cronenworth, Profar, Jackson Merrill. You got Matt Waldron, Michael King, Donovan Solano. I can put him in there. I'll put Kyle Higashioka in there as well. And if you're saying, well, Jackson Merrill's an all-star and Jerkson Profar's an all-star. Yeah, they're all-stars. And they've been amazing this year. And Jackson Merrill is a budding superstar potentially. And, you know, he's probably, hopefully, a cornerstone of this franchise moving forward as a center fielder for them for the next, hopefully, decade plus.
Did you mention Profar?
I did.
Okay.
But the thing is, going into this season, was anybody talking about those guys leading the way?
No way.
No, we weren't. Even if we had, you know, the dream of that happening, which it has kind of come to fruition, but nobody was sitting there to start the season and be like, man, if these others can, as long as the others can perform, it was the superstars need to perform. And we spent so much time talking about Xander, Manny, Tatis, Darvish, Musgrove. I think we could say Dylan Cease because he was here in the middle of spring training, but even before that, we were talking about those five guys: Manny, Toddy, Bogey, you, and Joe. And those five guys, we were like, they need to all have really good years for this team to be good. And kind of the opposites happened, where none of them, well, I'm not going to say none of them because Tatis has had a pretty good season up until this point, even though he's injured. And Manny's, you know, turned it around. But like, you is MIA now, and that's a personal issue. And Joe's gone, and Xander's been out. Like, the others have been the main reason why this team is where they are right now. And
Bryce Miller's been writing about it, columnist at the Union Tribune, back with us on Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Really enjoyed this piece. It's in the UT today. It's available for you as well at the UT's website. The headline here, Bryce Miller, supporting characters elevate Padres when waters turn choppy. We were just saying, Bryce, we spent the offseason saying, like, it's all about Manny and Toddy and Bogey and Darvish and Musgrove. And it really hasn't been the case. At times it has. Tatis had his moments before the injury, and Machado certainly on a heater right now. But you've written about the supporting cast. That's one of the big differences, isn't it, between last year's productivity from the supporting cast and what they're getting right now? And thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, no, I think for sure. I think by the end of the year, it's still going to be about Machado and Tatis, and, you know, it's going to be about the big names contracts. They need the production that they've invested so much in. But the way that good teams elevate to great teams get through rough patches of injuries or, you know, whatever the case might be, is that you get guys on the 26-man roster who, even though they might not play a lot, are productive when they do play. And I mean, I'm not sure anybody right now would think that, you know, would have guessed that Donovan Solano has a higher OPS than Manny Machado, or Kyle Higashioka has a higher OPS than Machado, Jackson Merrill, and Jake Cronenworth. Now, not as many reps, a third of the at-bats, essentially, in the case of Higashioka. But, you know, they've gotten Jeremiah Estrada and, you know, David Peralta had a big moment that won a game that helped win a series in Texas. That's what this team needs. They need more production.
from the bench that honestly wasn't very good last year. When you look, they weren't getting production out of, Matt Carpenter and Nelson Cruz. And for a while when they were sorting it out, Austin Nola and, going down the list, they just didn't get much consistent production other than maybe the power numbers from Gary Sanchez at catcher. Other than Sanchez, it was kind of a revelation in that role. They were hunting for, more depth, more quality bench depth, and so far they've had it.
What do you make so far of what Jackson Merrill has done this season? Being an all-star, 21 years old, started the season at 20. We haven't seen this in a long time here in San Diego.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of mind-blowing. You're talking about a guy that never played in AAA, a guy who barely played, I forget what it was, maybe 46 games in AA. So you're talking about a guy who, as he was working his way up through the minors, he had been a single-A player who had just started to get his feet wet in AA. Not only does he come up and act like none of that matters, they completely changed position. They take him from shortstop and they put it into the toughest out. They put him in the toughest outfield spot. He's got to cover the most ground in center. You're kind of the captain of the outfield in that sense, in terms of what traffic copping things defensively. It helps to have a platinum glove to your left with Fernando Tatis Jr., but he's not in the lineup right now. And the entire outfield, Padre outfield, is going to the All-Star game. But to change positions, to do it at that age, to do it without the benefit of playing in AAA, to never look like his confidence is wavered, to never look like a moment is too big, it's an incredible story.
Bryce Miller, columnist of the UT, with us right now on Jon and Jim. Well, how do you compare that story? I guess what's more improbable, what Merrill has done or what Jurickson Profar has done?
That's a really good question. I almost think it's probably more improbable what Profar has done. And the reason I say that is even though what Jackson Merrill has done is incredible, for all the reasons we just talked about, we didn't know what he would look like until he got that opportunity. And when he did, he lived up to the moment. So he was capable of that, and he hadn't been tested. You're talking about a guy with Jurickson Profar who had a decade in baseball, and his career numbers are nothing compared to the numbers he's putting up this season. It's incredibly rare to have somebody who's been in the league a decade make like an all-star game in year 11, and to do it in the way that he did, and to consistently be this productive and to hit for power. I mean, at the beginning of the year, you're thinking, okay, he's a stopgap in left. Good role player, can play a lot of positions if you need it. There's a lot of value in what everybody thought he could be, but nobody thought he was going to be the everyday left fielder, and certainly nobody thought he was going to be an all-star left fielder. So for those reasons, because of the resume and track record he had, to do what he's doing at this point in his career, I think is the one that caught me more off guard of the two.
Would you be surprised if Miller doesn't try to go big here at the deadline?
Well, he's limited. How big can you go when, depending on your math, what do they have, to mess with $10 million in wiggle room, roughly, under the competitive balance tax? I mean, I can't imagine they go over that tax. In fact, I'd be shocked if they did. They've worked too hard to position themselves not to go over that tax, to look to the future. They're above 500. They're playing competitively. At this point, a money spend is not likely. Now, could they go big with some draft capital? But possibly, depending on your definition of big. But then you got to think there's some guys that have to be non-starters. Has to be a non-starter. Probably Robbie Snelling. I think the Jackson Merrill thing, if anything, it proves to this organization that has built on talent for so long that if you protect the right guys, you could be a long-term, long-time all-star, difference maker, impact player at one of the premium positions on the field. So it'd be hard for me to believe they make a huge move, but you've got to think, especially when they're thinking about Buster Darvish, that they've got to be looking for starting pitching, potentially if there's something that fits in that economic model, or a reliever. The bullpen, they need a little more stability there without seeing some of that lately.
So Bryce Miller with us right now, columnist with the UT, Jon Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Let's touch more on the injuries because it's amazing what they've done here. When you consider guys have been out, whether it's Bogarts, Tatis, Musgrove, Darvish, others at times have been out. If they don't improve the roster, whatever that, if they get to the deadline and they add a back end rotation piece without a front end, or, like you said, he can only do so much. Can they overcome all this? Like, can you just be without Darvish and Musgrove for half season or more and continue to play at this pace?
I don't think so, but they've found a way to do it so far. I mean, I don't think anybody would have predicted that Matt Waldron would be as, at the least serviceable to at his best, really good. The early season Dylan Cease, if we get more of that moving forward, if he gets a little more consistent than he's been over the last 4 or 5 starts, that adds stability. Andy Vasquez he's had moments. Michael King can be good on any given night. That trade, I mean, part of the deal, what the return they got from the Yankees, including Higashioka, I mean, his power numbers are great and important, and what he does for the pitching staff. But the pitching they got back in that deal was critical. I don't know that anybody thought to be as productive as they have so far, but it's really hard to imagine they could survive an entire season without that.
One thing that we've been discussing a lot today, Bryce, is when Xander returns, what do you do with him? Because he's a guy that wasn't producing before he got injured, and you assume he's going to probably replace Donovan Solano, who has been producing at a pretty good clip for the team. What would you do when Xander returns, either be tomorrow or this weekend?
Well, I might find a way to use him in different ways. Like, maybe he can PH, you can tune in. I don't know if it's Cronenworth or somebody, but you could look at writing lefties and kind of mask that by saying, this organization is very protective of the field. So I don't think they want to do things or say things that make it look like they're not trusting Xander Bogaerts. They've got a long contract with him. He needs to be a productive player in this organization for a long time. You have him hit a little bit, say we're just working him back slowly, and that might protect some opportunities for Solano, and let Solano play himself out of those opportunities. Because right now he's not. I mean, that's the one thing with Steven Brault, that Solano can essentially play almost every infield position. Solano can also can play every outfield position. So not only have you got bench guys potentially with those guys, you've got platoon guys. They rather than having 2 designated hitters like Harper and Cruz last year, it was really made you've got to thread a needle in a situation like that. But you've got to keep those guys involved. They have to get back to at-bats to be productive. So that is tricky. It's almost like they need another spot in. They've got too many guys, but they can't just put those guys on ice and not let them get at-bats. There'll be a time when they need them.
Are you going to the All-Star game?
I am not, but the plan is I'm booked and we'll see. I think I'm going to the 3 cities right after Cleveland and DC and Baltimore. Kind of a big start for them after the All-Star break. You could be getting guys back. You're getting closer to the trade deadline. Cleveland and Baltimore, those are really good young clubs. There's a lot of connections to to Cleveland and DC and the Nationals. There's a whole slew of storylines with them in terms of their, how they overlap with Padres in terms of trades and stuff that have to affect the park. So there's a lot to potentially get out of that trip.
No, nothing's going to happen. That's good. No one's going to talk about anything. Why would you go on that trip? Those series, trade deadline, Padres, no one.
Right.
Bryce, appreciate it as always, really do. And we'll look forward to doing it again down the road here with the Padres and the Aztecs. So thank you.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Bryce Miller, great columnist with the UT, with us here on Jon and Jim. Let's hear from Mike Shildt coming up next on Xander Bogaerts' status moving forward. We'll get to the wrap in the 5 o'clock hour. Plus, we do have a giveaway for you between now and 6 p.m. 2 free tickets to see a day to remember, July 19th at Gallagher Square, Petco Park. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. You're going to hear from the Padres manager, Mike Shildt, next. All right, so if you're a veteran, listen up, because did you know that you can access up to 100% of your home's equity right now? Hey, guys, it's Schaefer. You can do it with Loan Pronto's VA Equity Advantage program. You can get 30, 50, 100 grand or more and use that money to pay off all those credit cards and personal loans and car loans, or maybe use the cash to do some home improvement projects. Veterans love working with Loan Pronto because they make it easy. No junk fees, no hassle. They can unlock that cash in your home's equity in a matter of weeks. Don't keep paying insane rates on credit cards. There's a smarter alternative with Loan Pronto. Get more info and start the process now at loanpronto.com. Or if your current VA loan rate is over 6.5%, Loan Pronto can get you in a streamlined refinance with a lower rate right now with no income verification and no appraisal. Lower your monthly payment big time. Loan Pronto makes it so easy for veterans. Here's the number to call. You can do it right now. 619-207-4336, 619-207-4336, 619-207-4336. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. It's the next hour. We're taking Gallagher Square, Petco Park. Next hour. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Tomorrow, Jim. No, we're going to hear from Mike Shildt in a moment. Tomorrow, we're going to be in Las Vegas. Now, to get to Las Vegas, you need to take a plane. You could drive, but I'm suggesting plane. So my question for you is this. The flight, and I could have booked all kinds of times, right?
Yeah.
For you, I went with like the 9:05. Could I have done the 8:05 or the 8:30 or the 7:4? I could have. But for you, I did 9:05. Might be 9:15, whatever, 9:10. Are you going to make the flight? As in, wake up, have a bag, remember your license, things like that.
When do you think, or ask me the question of when I think I should be arriving at the airport tomorrow.
Well, you don't have TSA pre-check, right?
I do not.
That's a wear it. I do. If I were you, if the flight is 9:05,
you ask me.
When are you okay?
Flight's at 9:05.
When do you think you should get to the airport for a 9:05 flight?
No later than 7:45.
That's a little aggressive without TSA pre-check.
A little.
If you're Jon Schaefer, you're getting there at 7:30. Now with TSA pre-check, I'll get there at 7:45.
Well, if I get there at 7:45, which
you're not checking a bag, right?
I'm not checking a bag. I think I might just bring my backpack. Well, actually, no, because I need to bring my laptop and everything. Oh man.
So 7:45? 7:45, you should be fine. That gives you 30 minutes for security, 40 minutes.
Well, I can bring a carry-on, and I'll probably just get a bag or whatever. But 7:45. I'm not going to
make the plane.
If I was 23 years old, I'd be like, I can be there by 8:30.
Is that how you used to do it? You just show up?
It was bad. I never will forget the time where I was running
booking
on the tarmac, whatever, to the airplane.
Spell tarmac right now. $10. I'll buy your first drink. Quick, 5 seconds.
TARMACK.
Wrong.
No C.
No K.
Oh, no K.
TARMAC.
Oh, okay.
Okay, great. You get no drink.
I'm not a good speller. I can't spell.
Spell the.
HEW. Kidding.
Anyway, you were running onto a plane one time.
Yeah, and it was, but the thing was, it was like a little connecting flight to LA and then LA back to Sonoma County. Don't ask me why.
You took a plane from San Diego to LA.
Yeah, and they didn't have any water on the plane, and I'm booking
you
it,
were dying,
and I'm dying, and I'm like kind of sick too, out of this cough, and I'm like, I need water, and they're like, we don't have any water.
You should have drank out of
the flight's 20
toilet.
minutes.
Not the toilet.
They didn't have
dog. I was gonna say the same.
And have a
What do you mean they have a toilet?
It's like a little mini,
like a puddle jumper.
Yeah, it's
like
8-seater.
8-seater.
More like a 12-seater.
12-seater.
It was a small flight, John.
Can someone fact check this?
What? It was Alaska, and I went to LA, and then LA to Sonoma County.
Let's hear from Mike Shildt.
That's probably the biggest benefit of the Allstate.
What can you tell about Xander's itinerary? You just saw him hit up over that.
Yeah, you might be able to tell me more than I have. I've been in meetings trying to get ready for the series, but yeah, I mean, clearly he's getting some live at bats. I love what we're doing in a controlled environment. You know, I talked to him yesterday. Felt like it went well in El Paso. He feels good, which is obviously very important. Feels good with his shoulder, but he also feels good just with the, playing. And, DH can get on the field, and so he recovered well, so everything looks to be in a good spot. Today he's going to get at bats, getting his timing off heaters, looking some spin, and then doing some situational at bats.
Is he going to go to Elsinore?
We're still, once we get through this one, we'll figure it out, but there's an opportunity where he can get some at bats there, maybe.
What is the value of getting him back before the All-Star break, as opposed to just letting him take the whole All-Star break?
Yeah, no, I think there's some real value to it. It's interesting. It may bookend with, started in Atlanta and we come back against Atlanta. But, look, the value of him getting back is in and of itself the most important thing.
What has Tatis been doing? We have not seen him for this period of time.
He's been here.
Yeah, we've seen him in the dugout.
Okay.
What is he doing up until?
He's really just resting. I mean, it's a thing that, we all want, like, what's he doing? How's he doing it? When's he getting back? But the fact of the matter is, just similar to Bogey when it first started, when you have, something going on with the bone, it's only going to really heal with rest. And he's been getting some rest. He's been doing some light, aerobic activities, doing some stuff in the pool. But the best thing with him is relatively soon he was able to looks like get some of that inflammation out and get some of that discomfort out just from a normal day-to-day life, walking around and moving. So that's the starting point. And then once we get a CT scan at some point next week or so with Fernando, we'll have a little better clarity of his baseline and what's next.
But no baseball activity yet, right? It's CT scan and then maybe baseball.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he on his own grabbed a bat and started swinging a little bit, because I think he's feeling pretty good about the fact that he's able to move without a lot of restriction and pain. So, but there's no formalized baseball activity for him at the moment.
Do you plan to use the off day in any way for the rotation, or stay on turn?
I mean, we pretty much stay on turn. We'll announce it here soon. I mean, it's always somewhat fluid, but who do you expect to pitch or likely pitch?
We have a lot of infielders when Xander's back. A lot of guys were playing really well too. I know it's a real good problem to have, but like, how do you kind of sort out the playing time of the at-bats with Xander?
Yeah, I mean, it's just we need another position. Maybe 5-man infield. We messed around with that with Toddy being on the field. But we got 3 outfielders who make an all-star team, so we're not going to go that route, obviously. No, we just need to be smart about and communicative with the players and matchups. And if there's going to be a real productive player that's not going to be in the lineup to start the game, and then figure out the best spot for them to be used when the situations arise.
With respect to Yu Darvish's personal situation, have you had any more clarity on the timeline for him to return? Do you expect him to return to the team this season?
Yeah, listen, I appreciate the questions about you. I don't think at least I'm not going to be able to say anything more relative to his personal situation. That's for him to disclose. Like I also say, we're just here to support him. There's no timeline. The timeline is making sure that he feels loved every day from his Padre family.
Do you expect the infield to go back to the way it was before? With Xander at second, Kim shortstop, Jake first?
I would expect when Bogey's playing, he'll play second base, and when Crony's in the field, he'll play first. So, to answer your question, yes, but I think you'll see a variation of, DHs and different alignments.
Are you in regular communication with you?
Again, I'd like to keep everything with you on a very private basis, a personal basis. That's candidly between the organization and myself and you. I understand the need to ask the question, but you're not going to get much more.
When AJ Preller is the GM, what are the final few weeks before the trade deadline? What's that like for everybody in the organization, including yourself?
I stay out of, you stay out of hurricane's way, right? I mean, AJ's a force of nature, and this is his time of year. Draft, trade deadline. This is where he really shines. It's utopia. I don't listen. I'm fortunate to have the club we have. I love the club we have. If AJ decides to make a move with the club, then clearly we'll support it. But I know he's always working, man. This guy's on top of everything, and I respect how dedicated he is to always making this team as good as it possibly can be.
The type of team that you guys have right now, and the number of uncertainties, especially in the pitching staff, do you expect him to be pretty aggressive moving up to that point?
I think AJ's is aggressive by nature, regardless of circumstance. But again, I love our club, and what we have is plenty enough, and we're going to ride with what we have at the moment.
We'll react on the other side.
There's a lot there.
There is a lot. Trade deadline plus. What is it going to mean with Xander Bogaerts returning? How do they deal with the odd man out? Because they've gotten a lot of production right now. So we'll react to that on the other side. Plus, we're going to hear from Xander. Brent doesn't realize that yet, but we'll hear from Xander coming up on the other side. We've got a giveaway for you coming up as well. Stay with us. Hour 3, Jon and Jim next.
All right, this update is brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Padres back in action tonight at Petco Park. 6:40 first pitch between the Seattle Mariners. All-star Logan Gilbert on the mound for the Mariners against Adam Major for the Padres. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and help you save time and money. Down the road, restrictions do apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Jon and Jim. The Mariners fly into Petco for a pair. We'll break down the matchup and we ramp up for the Mountain West Media Days tomorrow and Thursday. Now, it's time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of Jon and Jim. We will be at Circa Las Vegas tomorrow and Thursday.
From the sun.
Now, we'll be inside. Someone asked, like, how are you going to do the show? It's so hot. I'm like, well, they have buildings. We're inside.
Bless my mom's
Oh,
heart.
my mom, too. She's like, you know, it's going to be very hot. I'm like, yeah, no, I get it.
My mom, I love her more than anything. But she goes, did you see the temperatures in Las Vegas?
Yeah, we can't control that.
She put like 4 fire emojis.
Oh, yeah, those are fire emojis. Right
I responded, I go, yeah, it's kind of hot.
Right.
And she goes, be careful, with like 3 kissy face emojis.
We're not going on a hike.
As I say, they act like they're going to leave you guys in the car with the windows up,
exactly.
like you're a dog.
I said, we're going to be inside the whole time. It's going to be okay. She goes, drink lots of water for your kidneys. The air inside will be dry. I'm like,
okay, that's good advice.
I mean, I kind of get it, but still.
Do you want to maybe tomorrow before the show, let's say at noon, go for a run? Or for some type of moderate hike to the top of a mountain at 126, like rattlesnakes. How quickly would we be gone without water? If we went on some random hike in Nevada, we'd be dead, right?
We'd overheat. We would be dead.
How long? Brent's looking at that. Like, how long from start to finish to feeling decent to like a goner in that type of weather? 116 in the sun?
Here's the thing. I don't want to even try.
You don't want to try it?
No. What I want to do is when we get to Vegas, which I'm assuming it's going to be like 10:30, 11-ish, right?
Yeah, flight an hour, 9. We're leaving at 9, 10 o'clock, 10:30. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get there. I'll be hungry.
Want to eat outside?
Well, hey, you have outdoor seating? I love the food options in Circa.
Okay.
We'll get to the hotel. We'll check in, whatever. And we have a bunch of time before we have to go on the air. So we should go get some food. Let's go outside.
Get food. No, we're not going outside.
You want to walk Fremont Street?
We just said we're going to die if we go outside. No, I want to stay in the air conditioning. I want to get like a smoothie. I might want to go to DQ in, where is it, in Excalibur at some point? I love that DQ.
No, we're not. We're staying in Circa. We're not going outside of Circa.
What are you eating?
Nothing. I had like something in
only
my
what
mouth.
Circa provides.
Right. So my point is, you're thinking now I'm going to do a little
Jim Russell Vegas forager.
Well, Jim's going to do like eating and drinking, and I'm going right to the Mountain West Media Day.
Of course you are.
I got people to see and talk to and interact with. We got a show to book.
But here's I do understand that now because you are the voice of San Diego State football. So it makes perfect sense.
You're saying a year ago,
I'm like, John, what are we doing here? Like, come on, man. It makes sense for you. I get it. Me, on the other hand,
you can do whatever you want.
I'm just going to go have an adventure somewhere.
All right. So tomorrow,
30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on how much you sweat.
It
depends on how much you sweat.
Wow.
And if you're not putting any water back into your body.
We'll let you know how long it takes us to perish from Vegas. The Mountain West Commissioner, Gloria Navarez, will join us tomorrow. So will San Diego State student athletes. On Thursday, Sean Lewis will join the show as well, San Diego State's head coach. We have 2 free tickets to give away. We'll do it this hour to see A Day to Remember, July 19th at Gallagher Square, Petco Park. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Before we hear from Xander Bogaerts, you want to react to Mike Shildt, who joked about what they would do with Bogarts, but saying, well, we'll just play more infielders in a way to make this all work. Now, I've said before, baseball has a funny way of working itself out, but in the short term, it doesn't necessarily. Someone has to be an odd man out. And come Friday, you know who it's going to be? It's Donovan Solano.
Well, he mentioned it. He didn't say his name, but he said there will be a guy who's producing who's going to get the short end of the stick. I don't think essentially that's what he was saying.
Donnie Barrels.
Donnie Barrels is going to get the short end of the stick here.
Mm-hmm.
which it is what it is. But at the same time, man, if you're Xander, and I just saw what Donnie Barrels has been doing for this team for the last month and a half, I better perform right away, because Xander doesn't really have any legs to stand on here in San Diego as of yet.
Sure.
He hasn't really proven himself. He has been more of a disappointment than not. And so you come back and you immediately start putting up the same numbers that you were putting up before you got injured. Dude, I mean, you thought it was bad before, John. It's gonna be worse, because you have a guy in Donovan Solano who is producing and giving you, I mean, not exactly what you need, but he's giving you way more than what Xander was giving you.
I mean, he's kind of giving you exactly what you need. What does he not provide? You're going to say power? He's got 3 homers and 150 plate appearances. That's fine. Yeah, but he's shown good gap power, and he's come through in the clutch, and he's hit with 2 strikes. Like, what has he not done? Very little.
I mean, you're right.
Very little.
He's a guy that he can play third base. He can play second base.
That's exactly right.
He can be
a DH.
He's
versatile.
Very versatile. He's hitting 286 with a 750 OPS and 154 at bats.
It's very good.
Very good. He's not going to give you much power. 3 home runs.
Right.
I get it. 19 RBIs. It's pretty decent.
That's fine. Yeah.
It's fine. But I mean, the guy's a career,
he hits
279 hitter.
Yeah.
But then you can say the same thing about Xander. Like, well, Xander's
like
a career 300 hitter.
Right.
It's about, what have you done for me lately? And what Xander's done for this team lately is when he's been out there, he's been god awful. When Donovan Solano's been out there, he's given this team an upgrade that they desperately needed at that position.
Right. Well, what Shildt did today was end any discussion, any theory of, well, you could put Bogarts in blah, 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 or it's short. No. Xander Bogaerts is the second baseman. He just said it. Jake Cronenworth is the first baseman. He just said it. What does it mean for Luis Ariz? It means he's DHing a lot.
And that sucks, because but Jake Cronenworth
was playing his best baseball at second.
Right.
And Luis Ariz was playing a competent first base. He was. It was a bit of a liability, but he was playing a good enough first base. So everything's going to change a little bit. And the question is, when it changes, do they do it without skipping a beat or not? By putting Xander back in there, do you still have the propensity for being down 4-1 in the 7th and winning the game? Maybe or maybe not. Does he come back and light the world on fire when he's activated? Maybe or maybe not. If you're in the maybe not part of the equation, that's when questions arise. If 3 weeks into this, he's back and he's still hitting 219 on the year, as in he's hit 219 now for the next 3 weeks, I guess someone's going to have to answer on that.
It is going to be fascinating. Like, if you're telling me right now, what are the, things that I'm looking forward to, or at least like the main things to watch out for the next month, obviously trade deadline's number 1.
Yep.
Number 2 for me is Xander. How does Xander perform? If Xander does perform, great. We don't have to worry about it. The team doesn't have to worry about it. That's a good problem to have if you have Xander and Donovan Solano both producing. And it's much easier if Donovan Solano wasn't producing, because he's not making $26 million a year.
Right.
Much easier. But man, if Xander gets back this weekend and he puts together a stretch for the next 3 or 4 weeks that's the same as before, oh man, dude, that's going to be some tough conversations. And I don't know how long you can continue to throw him out there if he stinks it up.
I mean, he was among the worst position players in baseball when he got hurt. Now, again, the sample size was however many games from the start until May 20th, 187 at bats. He was hitting 219. His on-base percentage was 265. His slug was 316. For perspective or comparison, his career slugging percentage is 452. He slugged 316 from the start of the season through May 20th. God, I think I also want to see from Xander at some point. Maybe he can hit 280. Can you hit 280 with a little bit of pop? There was a time, again, he's not a 35 home run hitter, but you expect him to maybe hit double-digit home runs. which hopefully he does. Now he had 4 of them. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna have to like he's not just a singles hitter, is he? They didn't spend $280 million on a singles hitter, did they?
And until I see otherwise, like I will give him benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Not for the rest of the season, but at least until the end of this month. Like I maybe a little farther than that. Like I will give him the benefit of the doubt. No, you're right.
You know what I mean? Dude, I'm thinking about it. They're on the road. It's the middle of July. They're 6 games into this trip. It's his 9th game back. He's 3 for 32 with a double.
3 for 32 with a double.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
If he's 4 for 32 with a homer and a double, no, you're not. If he's 5 for 32, no, you're not. You see he's going to have to pick up the pace. I'll give him a series or 2. That's fine.
That's, I think, where I'm going with the benefit of the doubt.
A series or 2.
Like knowing you're right. You're absolutely right. I will give him the benefit of the doubt for like a series or 2 because
what are you going to say Friday night if he's 0 for 4?
First game back.
I know. I will too.
That's where I'm going with this. Is you're right. I want to lengthen this benefit of the doubt out because listening to Will Fleming talk about him, I'm like, where is that guy? Like he's just not it here. He's not beloved. He doesn't produce, and it just the fans don't feel the same way about Xander as fans feel about him in Boston. Obviously, World Series changes a lot of things and multiple time All-Star. I get it.
Multiple time champion.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But even here, he's a great interview. He's great with the media. He's very honest about things. When he's not doing well, he'll let you know. Like he's probably one of the guys you want to go talk to right away after games when either things are going good or things are going bad. But other than that, like this play on the field has been really bad. So the benefit of the doubt, you're right, will last probably for a couple series.
Yeah, or a couple at bats.
No, I won't do that. I won't do that. But if in a couple series, John, like say this weekend, and then we get through the Washington series, and in that stretch he's hitting like 168 or something, then the discussion's going to have to be had of like, dude, this team needs to prioritize winning over players' feelings. And if Donovan Solano, who has been a better option this year, is sitting on the bench in favor of Xander Bogaerts, we got a problem.
It'll be interesting to see how they deal with that. Hopefully it's all null and void because he just comes out and produces.
Absolutely. That's the best case scenario. You pray that's what happens. He comes out and he just balls out.
Absolutely. All right, let's hear from Xander Bogaerts on his time away, on his expected return. This is Xander Bogaerts this afternoon.
Feel good, getting there, getting close. So hopefully it's coming around soon.
How many at-bats do you think you had?
I had today?
Yeah.
Close to 20 maybe. Yeah, 15, 20, about.
What else do you think needs to be done before?
I'll probably say a couple more games, in games. That's great, but I mean, it's obviously a little different than games, and playing anywhere in the minors, I mean, I don't think like it makes a big difference. Just being in a game itself is just different.
Do you think you'll play before the All-Star break?
Yeah.
Here I mean.
I think so, yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I guess day by day and see how these next couple of days go, but for sure nothing this serious. That's at least for sure.
How is the timing going to affect you? Because, you are just about to get back and then you have 4 days off for the All-Star break. Is that a challenge?
No.
Do you think if you were to come back this weekend, then have 4 days off, it wouldn't be at issue at all?
No.
How has it, how do you feel right now? You've had, 3 games and today and all that. The shoulder still feels good?
I feel good. I feel great. As I said, just probably a couple more games might still, and timing. And as I said, the game is much different regardless if you play AAA, you play, low A, high A, whatever, it's just being in a real game is a little different, But that we did today was very nice. I mean, probably got more at bats than normal. And I just think it's more like muscle memory thing, being able to understand, I can let it go, and as opposed to sometimes it just wants to stay on.
You noticed that a lot of one hand, not a lot of two-hand follow-up there. Are you done with that?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
It's hard, 2 hands, and it's not me. And as I said, probably in a season, a regular season, I'll probably do it maybe 10 times. But it just happens normally, but went down in AAA, kind of happened a little bit more. So I just think it's something that by playing a little bit more, seeing more pitches, swinging a lot more, might just get that out of the way and just get it back to normal.
I have a question.
What is it?
What has he done on these 2 or 3 rehab games?
It's a great question. I have no
I can
clue.
look it up. I'm very curious. I have no. Now, again, we're talking about the smallest sample size. I don't know if it's 8 plate appearances, 9, 10.
But it's something.
It's definitely something. Do I have his minors stats here? Jim Russell. Let's see. Minor league stats 2024 in El Paso. He's had 15 plate appearances this year.
Okay.
And he is 2 for 11 with 4 walks, which is, he's gotten on base at a 400 clip, but he's 2 for 11 with 4 walks and a double.
Okay.
So I'm assuming he's at 4 games. Seems like a lot. He played 4 games for El Paso this past week, I guess. Yeah. So 4 games, 2 for 11, 15 plate appearances, 4 walks.
It kind of just tells you all you need to know about Xander's time here in San Diego so far is that he goes down to El Paso and we just kind of don't really care much about it.
Yeah, there was very little discussion about it, right?
Like he's about to return and the main discussion isn't like, yes, Xander's back.
No, it's like, what are you going to do with Donovan Solano?
It's exactly like, hey, bro, there's other players that are playing better than you.
And the questions we have that we started being asked by the media down there, sure you're going to come back for a series and then take 4 days off for the All-Star break? Is that wise? And he's like, yeah.
I get it from a standpoint of like, he's probably sitting there watching the team, play better baseball without him.
Mm-hmm.
He gets paid a lot of money. He was brought in here to be a leader. He was brought in here to produce, to be the guy like he was in Boston. And he is far from that here in San Diego. That's gotta like really, really tear at you. You're sitting there, and when you're injured, you just pretty much get so detached from the actual team. Like I'm sure Tatis in a couple of weeks, he's gonna be like, dude,
chomping.
Same thing with Joe, and obviously you as a personal issue. But when you go on the IL for an extended period of time, you get detached very quickly from the team. And especially if the team is performing and doing well, it makes it even worse. So if he's ready to go, I mean, I get it. I understand why he wants to return as quickly as possible. But yeah, it's also a team thing where there has to be discussions had like, hey, man, why don't we just wait until after the break? But
I just feel like here's the thing. Your points are spot on where you're the player. You want to help.
Yeah.
No, but you don't want to be a detriment when helping. We always talk about that. Like Manny wants to play, but if he's hurt, does that help the team? Right. That type of conversation where I would just say, hey, listen. And again, we're talking about nothing. We're splitting hairs over 3 games, maybe. I just would say if I was the organization, dude, you're 100%, you're a leader on this team, and you're going to be in there come Friday after the All-Star break. But there's no reason to get cute here. That would be I would just say that everything's great. Take the additional game or 2 in single A or double A, get established, get ready, get healthy, and come the other side of the All-Star break, you're starting every day at second base. And maybe it's just splitting hairs and it's nothing. And maybe he's got a big series against the Braves and leads them to a win based on his play. At the end of the day, it's probably nothing. What is something is how they look with Bogarts playing every day, because how they've looked with Bogarts playing every day for about 200 games is very mediocre. Saw it a year ago. He left a lot to be desired. A lot of opportunities squandered with men in scoring position. This year, when he left, I don't know what the record was overall, but it wasn't unbelievable because this is the best they've been all year, and they're 4 games over. So now that Atlanta series is good. They won 3 out of 4. But, they're 2 games over 500. So, again, his total time here, they're basically a 500 team.
Best case scenario for this team is not only do they win when he gets back, but he also produces. Worst case scenario is he doesn't produce and they don't win. And I think if the other option would be they win and he doesn't produce, then it buys time. So those are the 3 things that are going to happen. Either he comes back, he does really well, and even if they lose, like Xander, at least it won't be on his shoulders. It feels like because if he comes back, John, and he doesn't produce, and he puts up the same type of numbers before his injury, and they're losing, what we're going to do every day, we're probably going to put this a lot on Xander. Like, hey, man, you came back maybe a little too soon. And did you mess up the chemistry of the team? Did you mess up this? Like, Toronto was doing much better than you, and things were going good. And then you come back, and the team's not winning. Like, I hope that does not happen. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for a couple series, but other than that, I just worried. I'm a little worried.
More. We can react to that more on the other side. What do you think they should do here with Bogarts before the All-Star break? Should he return before the break or wait until after? You can call us 877-767-4760 or text us 70470. Start it with team. Again, 877-767-4760 or 70470. Start it with team. Plus, on the other side, we're giving away tickets to see A Day to Remember July 19th at Gallagher Square. Stay with us. All right, so sports fans, listen up. We've been telling you about Circa Las Vegas. It is paradise. We'll be there this week, tomorrow and Thursday, broadcasting live from Mountain West Football Media Days. Circa is a sports lover's dream. We've been there. Trust us. It features both the largest sports book in Vegas and Stadium Swim, which is an incredible rooftop pool, massive outdoor video boards to watch all the games, open 365 days a year. Here's the other good news. Circa's 21 plus, so there's nothing to worry about other than sports. Speaking of which, the biggest pro football contests in Vegas are back. Circa Survivor and Circa Million are now up to $16 million in guaranteed prizes, 2 ways to win and no rake. Circa Survivor contestants select one team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all with $10 million guaranteed. In Circa Million, make 5 picks against the spread each week for your share of $6 million guaranteed. Quarterly and full season payouts. Enter in Nevada. Play from anywhere. Visit circasports.com for details.
This update's brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Padres, Mariners. Game 1 of a 2-game series tonight at Petco Park. 6:40 first pitch. Logan Gilbert, the all-star on the mound for the Mariners, against Adam Major for the Padres. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the pesky check engine light for free and help you save time and money down the road. Restrictions do apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Thoughts on the Padres' plans here with Bogarts to get him back before the All-Star break? And call us 877-767-47. We'll get to Davey in a moment. Got a giveaway as well. We'll do in the next handful of minutes 2 tickets to see a day to remember. July 19th, Gallagher Square. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Before we get to any of that, Jim's back pages ahead. We have not buried the lead because we've talked about it obsessively, but we're 24 hours away, essentially, from being at this Team USA basketball game tomorrow night at T-Mobile.
I completely forgot about it. It's a weird thing to think about because it happens so quickly. We
just got tickets a day ago.
I wasn't planning on this for the last couple months of waiting for it and countdown and looking forward to it and thinking about it. No, it just happened the other day. Now, granted, we don't have actual seats.
Fair. Yeah, we're standing. Yeah.
And it's already a sellout. It was announced today.
They announced that last night. So we got in at the right time because I feel like there's more demand now that it's officially sold out.
And we'll have to probably get there before 7:30 in order to get some
So you show up earlier for the basketball game than you will for your flight.
Maybe.
Well, it depends on the timing of what we're all doing.
We have a very busy day.
Yeah.
Fly to Vegas, Jim will eat food, but then there's Mountain West Media Day. We'll do our show. We were hoping to potentially get to this Pac-12 event at the Bellagio with Oregon State and Washington State.
Pac-2 event.
They're technically the Pac-12, but fair.
Yes.
That should be a short event, though.
True. We were just going to show our faces maybe for 30. Yeah. And then get over to the Bellagio. But the time is going to be...
Make some connections.
Yeah. Because you know us with the Oregon State and Washington State connections. So we'll see.
Because we can just walk through the casinos to get to the T-Mobile Arena.
From Bellagio?
From Bellagio.
Is that confirmed? Well, I think you could just take the tram from Bellagio to...
It's not far away. It's
yada,
2 blocks away. Now,
2 blocks, it's 400 degrees out.
I know. But
I'm going to die.
I'm pretty sure, John, we can walk through the Bellagio.
Also, what are we going to be wearing at this Pac-12 event if we're then going to the basketball game? I guess just jeans and a t-shirt.
What do you want me to wear? A colored shirt?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. No, media members don't necessarily get dressed up. All right, let's go to the phones. People want to weigh in on Xander. Let's start with Davey on line 4, 877-767-4760. Davey, we appreciate you calling in. You're on with Jon and Jim.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me again. Yeah. Really appreciate it. Just wanted to say a couple quick things about Bogarts real quick. I like what you said, John, about how these things tend to work themselves out. And I do think that having another option will help so that, you're not kind of feel obligated to play a guy through an injury because you don't really have another option, because now you do have options. And the main thing I want to say is something that not enough people are talking about. The solution to this is very easy. Jake Cronenworth has a 563 OPS against left-handed pitching this year. I mean, there's your answer. Just don't play Jake against left-handed pitching.
Davey, thank you.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say there is that, Cronenworth is an everyday guy, whether you like it or not. You're platooning Jake Cronenworth, your $80 million guy, to then platoon Solano. That's, I guess maybe that event. Yeah. Solano's going to play. So they'll find ways to get him into Davey's point. So maybe that's the way to get him in. You just sit Jake against left-handed pitching.
He's not been good against left-handed
but he's been better because he was awful. There was a time when you looked at it a month into the season, he was hitting 0.
Well, still, he's hitting 212 with a 563 OPS, like Davey just said there, against left-handed pitching.
All right.
And against righties, he's having an all-star season. He's in 285 with an 851 OPS.
Maybe there's your answer.
Maybe that is the answer. Yeah, you're gonna make Jake now into a platoon guy.
I just don't know if they're gonna do that. And again, what if you face lefties back-to-back days? He sits 2 straight days. I don't know. Maybe he sits one of the two. He probably would sit one of the two. Maybe. Let's go back to the phones. 877-767-4760. Dave, you're on with Jon and Jim. Thanks, Dave.
Hey, thanks, guys, for having me as well.
Yeah.
And Hey, old business on your TV screen, however it shows up on the live, you've got your old phone number from the old.
Oh, nice, Jim.
No, we don't.
So,
No, we
yes, you
don't.
do.
No, we don't.
Yeah, you do.
Maybe earlier
It
we
does.
did.
Oh, maybe earlier. 877-767-4760. That's our new one.
That's not. Yeah, that's not showing up on the screen. It's the old number. FYI.
Come on, Jim.
I don't know. I mean, dude, what do you got, Dave? What do we got?
Thanks for calling extra. What do you got?
Extra 1360. What do you want?
There you go. Be patient, young man.
Right.
That's all we do.
I'm going to stick up for the players for a moment. The Padres have got this bad habit of this plug and play attitude, and it's been brought up before. And Xander did a real good interview. I don't know with who. I can't remember which media member in San Diego it was, but he talked extensively about the difficulty of moving at the late notice that they gave him. So that screwed him up in this part of the year. And as well, you put Kim back over at short, where he was playing an outstanding second base, had an outstanding offensive year last year. So you goofed up two players. And so this is a problem that the organization has. I don't know what the answer is. We're just going to have to play it out and see. But I would like to see AJ and that the leadership start thinking more about this notion that they can just all of a sudden plug and play people all over the place. You got too many shortstops here, and it's been a problem.
Dave, we appreciate it. Moving position. It hasn't been an issue with Jackson Merrill.
No.
Hasn't been an issue with Fernando Tatis Jr.
No.
And, Jerkson has moved his career.
Right.
Arise has moved throughout his career, including for the Padres to be on this team.
Yeah.
He's not playing second. The point has some validity, but is the big leagues like short second? Guys can make that switch.
Well, I think they thought that moving Kim to play shortstop every day and Bogarts to second every day would be the best move for the team.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, those two moves haven't worked out. Like, can we agree on that so far?
Yeah.
Kim has not been good offensively, and frankly, he's not been good defensively this year either. I mean, not to the level he was last year, at least. And he has not been the same defensive player like he was last year at second base. So those two moves have not worked. Now, while Xander's been out, second base with Jake there, that's been great. Third base with Manny and Solano, and then first base with the Rise. Like, there's been no issues at all. It's going to be different. It's going to be interesting to see, like, what are they going to do? I mean, we haven't even talked about Ha-Seong Kim today. Is Ha-Seong Kim just like, hey, no matter what, you're our shortstop?
Well, there's all this talk with fans. If you see it, like, oh, just move Kim. And I'm like, are you really going to take a guy that's played every day for you for the better part of 4 years, has had highs and lows, make no mistake. He's not having some banner incredible year, but he has had moments and he has helped this team and he has been better recently. Just going to move a regular at the deadline because you've got enough pieces, if you avoid injury, to move guys back to natural positions. Say Bogarts short, Arise second, Crony first, or like it gives you a little more flexibility. You're going to move Kim because it's the last year of the deal. Mm-hmm. Really? Like forecast it out. Now they're 6, 7, 8 over. Playing good baseball, and you're moving your starting shortstop.
Yeah,
because you don't quote unquote need him.
By the way, Dave was right. When we go to breaks, the screen that I put up has
awesome
the old number.
What else does it say? Like, hey, fax us. We're excited for the 1969 season of Padres baseball.
You're listening to San Diego Sports Extra 1360. That's what it says.
Exactly. All right, let's go back to the phones. Darren wants to weigh in on Ha-Seong Kim. Darren, thanks for calling in, man.
Hey, Darren.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey. John, or excuse me, Jim, I'm so glad you just brought up the Ha-Seong Kim thing. However, I do think trading him, especially at the deadline, that's a little crazy. I like where your head's at, though. Honestly, his defense has not been what it was, which when you're hitting like he is, he has to be a perfect defender, and he is far from that this year. So I do think you need to keep him around. It just seems like when the team is kind of vibing, obviously Kim's kind of been a cornerstone piece for the last handful of years. He's just not playing well. So I think he needs to play less. You have a capable shortstop in Xander Bogaerts. You can play Jake Cronenworth there, and you have Luis Arise and Donovan Solano and Manny Machado to fill in the corners. So to me, the answer is give Kim, I mean, maybe if you want to give Jake some time off against lefties, that's fine. But you need to play Ha-Seong Kim less and get Solano in there. I mean, truly, gun to your guys' head. would you rather have Donovan Solano having 3 to 4 at-bats a game or Ha-Seong Kim? I think we all know the answer, so we need to ride that out. If his defense was spectacular, different story, but it hasn't been. So let me see more Solano, less Kim, and let's make the playoffs.
Darren, thank you. 2.4 WAR, Ha-Seong Kim, despite his struggles. 2.4 WAR, pacing for 4 to 4.5. 104 OPS plus means he's a better than average big league hitter. Plus a good defender. Darren's point is right. He has not been an elite defender. He is a good defender. I'm not moving Ha-Seong Kim. I mean, a 4 WAR player in his prime, even if it's a free agent at the end of the year, going to go rock that boat.
You're not moving anybody on the big league roster because they're going to be in it. If this thing was over, yeah, we're talking about trading Kim, trading guys like maybe Dylan Cease, like that's not it at all. They're not going to be trading.
I mean, again, if it's something blockbuster, unbelievable, over the top frontline starting pitching piece, we can have the conversation. Otherwise, I wouldn't envision what's the value. I didn't see value. He's a 4.5 player
for a team that sucks.
Fair. All right.
For a contender, yeah, but you're not trading Ha-Seong Kim to a contender for one of their top pitchers.
All right.
Him put a package.
That's fair. Yeah, like the Marlins don't necessarily want us.
Like what?
877-767-4760. Caller 5. You have 2 free tickets to see A Day to Remember, July 19th, Gallagher Square, Petco Park. Tickets and info, Ticketmaster.com. 877-767-4760. Caller 5. Those are your tickets. Call right now. 877-767-4760. Jim's back page next. Jim's back page. That comes your way next. All right, Las Vegas, Nevada tomorrow, where it's going to be warmer than San Diego.
Ready for it, Vegas? You're not ready. Oh, like Vegas has
What happens?
Oh, no.
Oh, I've never seen Jon and Jim. It's
Oh,
gonna
my
be wild.
goodness. I think they can handle Jon and
So
Jim.
here today, 76, which is nice.
I thought you showed me Vegas for a second. I
No,
go,
like, oh,
what
it's nice.
happened?
So here today, 76. Vegas 115 right now, 117 earlier today, 116 tomorrow, 116 Thursday. So they're actually going to cool off from 117 today to 116 tomorrow.
That 1 degree difference is going to make it.
Of course, we're
Yeah,
there.
but it's a dry heat.
It's dry.
It's
It's dry.
Well, we walked outside last year.
Remember at night? It was like walking outside in like a
sauna.
microwave oven.
Yeah, it was bad.
The like wind in your face was extremely hot.
Yeah, and I was wearing pants and I think I was wearing like almost this exact outfit.
It's shocking because you wear that every day.
That's right.
Anyway, Vegas, Mountain West Media Days. Join us. We'll be on the air from 3 to 6 Wednesday and Thursday. Great guests lined up. You can listen to it on San Diego Sports 760. You can watch it on YouTube. Search for Jon and Jim 760. You can always listen as well on the free iHeartRadio app. Find us on social. We'll be putting out content throughout the course of the next couple of days at Jon and Jim. JONANDJIM. Right now, let's get to this.
Taco Bell, John, is going to open a luxurious retirement community experience in San Diego.
What?
Taco Bell is giving its rewards members the chance to sit back, relax, and enjoy an early retirement. They announced earlier today, they unveiled the Cantinas, an innovative early retirement community where guests can embrace a laid-back lifestyle. The Cantina's early retirement community, just like our brand, represents a place where all generations can come together regardless of age to live their moss however they want. The limited time experience, which runs from August 17th to August 18th, is more for Gen Z, those 21 or older, than actual retirees.
Gotcha.
Though a specific address wasn't given, Taco Bell shared that the experience will be in San Diego, about 30 minutes from the San Diego airport. They will sell passes for $50 and weekend memberships for $150 to rewards members for the experience on July 16th, beginning at noon.
So with the day pass, you get...
Taco Bell announced more details about the San Diego experience will be released soon.
That's really clever, actually.
They said they had a similar experience in 2019 when it opened a hotel in Palm Springs.
Wow.
So get ready for that.
They're based in Southern California.
Taco Bell, the Cantinas.
Okay.
Interesting. Here's a list, John, of movies that are set to release in 2026. That was announced today.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Shrek 5 will release on July 1st, 2026 in theaters.
Did they do 4?
No, they just skipped 4.
Yeah,
John.
they went Shrek 1, and then they said, all right, this is Shrek 5.
But is 4 like coming out in 24 or 25, or it's already been out?
It's already exists.
Been out for a while.
Don't ruin it for me.
Avengers 5 will appear in 2026. Toy Story 5, The Batman 2, Jordan Peele's next film.
Time out. I'm mad.
Shrek 4 came out in 2010, John. So you're a little late.
Why is everything 5 and 2? Can we get some original?
No.
Okay.
No. A live action Moana movie is going to come out in 2026. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie that's underway is going to get out in 2026. They announced. Super Mario Bros. Movie 2 is coming out in 2026. And they also announced today the Hunger Games. Here you go, John. Ready? The Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping will come out in 2026 as well. And
it sounds like a wine.
It really does.
And finally,
I have a 68 Sunrise on the Reaping. That's really good.
The final season of Stranger Things, Volume 1, will come out in 2025. So they'll do
it got pushed back.
They'll do like 2 different volumes.
But these kids are now what, investment bankers?
Well, they've already
pretty close.
They've already finished filming. I'm assuming they just have to like do maybe some reshoots and then also like post-production and get all the graphics and CGI and everything. And
Where are we in the story?
This is the final season.
Like, what has happened? All I
can't
remember
tell
is it was
you.
like they were upside down and it was like weird. And
Yeah, that was the first
Yeah,
season.
that's still going on.
Okay.
So
It's still weird.
you should probably watch to understand.
How many seasons has it been?
Since I just said this is the 5th season.
5?
This is the 5th.
And you're supposed to be our math guy.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right.
And finally, you brought this to my attention, which is cool. The headline here is this North County hotel was named the best in the continental U.S. in Travel Plus Leisure survey.
Travel and leisure, not travel plus leisure, you idiot.
What says Travel Plus Leisure survey? Travel and leisure, whatever. Well, the hotel.
I'm leaving. No, I'm just kidding.
The hotel is the Mission Pacific,
where you just stayed
where
for
I
your
was
wedding.
for my wedding.
And I said, Travel and Leisure's #1 hotel in the country is in Oceanside.
Is the Mission Pacific.
And their number 11 hotel in the world.
Dude.
Did it feel like the number 11 hotel in the world, Jim?
Is it spectacular?
Mission Pacific Beach Resort scored a 99.17.
What?
They put it at the number 11 spot on the list of best hotels in the world, like you just said, allowing it to also place at the top of several domestic rankings. I will say this, absolutely justified. That place is
it's that good.
Freaking awesome.
I need to check it out. Seriously.
It's a little pricey.
Well, yeah, it's the best hotel in the nation.
Shout out to Aaron's parents for hooking us up. And the views were insane. We had a view that just looked right out to the pier. I wish we stayed longer in there, but timing was whatever. And Aaron spent all of the wedding day getting ready in the hotel rooms.
Oh, she got ready?
She did. She got ready. Yeah, she got ready. But yeah, the service there, the hotel was great.
How much a night? 109? 119? More than that.
An hour?
Times that by like 3.
By the way, ESPN show Tessitore joining WWE, which I think is a big addition. He's a big game, big event caller.
Potentially, they tried this before,
okay,
and it didn't work out. I forget who the guy was.
Mike, what's his name? I can't remember. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, they tried it out with another guy.
You know, my boy is Tony Schiavone or whatever. We should have him on. He played minor league baseball for 10 years with me.
We should get MJF on the show.
Who's that? If you want Tony Schiavone on, just is he still doing it?
I think he is.
I don't know. If you missed anything today, SportsNC.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify. We're in Vegas tomorrow from Circuit for Mountain West Media Days, beginning at 3. Join us for Brent.
Adamly.
Joe Tessitore is kind of a big game call. For Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here at San Diego Sports 760. Goodbye.